Kana's pretty cool, you should check her out.
Potato Mean is now following.
Potato, yo. Hello. Where's the little pop out thing?
Kana's pretty cool, you should check her out.
Oblivion 558.
Oblivion, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. What's up, Nameless? What's up, gamers? Hello. Good morning, everyone. Birthright has been claimed by its rightful owner once again. Okay, buddy, fucking psychopath. Watching this despite skipping for Yishuan, that's okay. I don't blame you.
Don't look down on me.
Give me your points. How many points is it? Still asleep? 6,000. Sorry, boys. I didn't get much sleep last night. My Jane is nearly maxed. I need to work on discs though. Okay. Today, I know the video's titled Hugo stuff. I'm gonna be doing, I don't want to call it clip farming, but if we have things to talk about, content to react to, maybe like something to a point to kind of discuss, I think I kind of want to make it into a video or something, so we might have like shorts compilation. There's a couple things I actually want to talk about that I feel like I talked about from last video, but I think I want to be more concise about it. Yeah, Rascal. You know, I was actually just talking to Yoji about it. And that guy is the fucking goat when it comes to fucking playing some of these team comps out. I actually also wanna test out Miyabi a little bit. So I was going through and leveling some of my shit. Morning, Silver. Hello. What's up, Ark? Is Kaleda the best in slot for Kaleda? No. I know it looks like, oh wait, did they just add this? Wait. Hold on. Oh, no, they didn't. Oh my god. For some reason, I thought they added the ability to burnout mode any character. I mean, really that should be in the game, truthfully told. Hope you get well soon. Thank you so much. What's up, Lore? The fact we had double ice ether on DA sucked. I mean, does that really change much though? Like, honestly, doesn't that kind of just mean that we were... Oh. Mala? Sorry, oh fuck, I didn't even see your name. Oh, thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh, the fabled 1 frame per second. Hey, I'm struggling to clear Deadly Assault. What about Deadly Assault are you struggling with? The entire Anomaly archetype is what kept me to play ZZZ for 2 months, and now I regret pulling Silver Ambi. What? Okay, can I ask, what about Silver Ambi do you feel regretful about when it comes to pulling? Because, like, truth be told, I don't think Zenless is really a game that is difficult enough to warrant like feeling regretful about anything. Maybe that's like a hot take, but what teams did I use for both? Actually, I think I used Hugo, but otherwise I think I would have used GUN for one. Or dude, someone in the official, like, there I was looking up something. I I was looking up something that I posted a while ago in the official E7 Discord, and there's someone that's upset about the way that I pronounce like I don't even know how to say it. I thought it was Juyuan. How you pronounce the police lady's name? Is it not Juyuan? Juyuan? Or like Juyuan? I don't. Am I correct?
Kel0 is now following.
Kel0, thank you for the follow. Abi, it's Kana with 4 A's. That's not a hot take. I only regret Ellen now because they made my favorite character Ice 2 7 patches later. Hey, guess what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good, Nameless, because still, technically speaking, you have access or you have the ability to benefit from that because they do often have double ice. There is there's the chance that they run. Shoot, what boss? There's a boss that runs that's also a boss in Ice Week only. I'm trying to remember who it is. Shoot, what's the guys? Isn't there a boss that's specifically only Ice Week? Oh, it's Bringer. Huh. I hope Jufufu works with Sambi and Trigger. I don't know anything about Jufufu. I don't know anything about 2.0. We don't talk about leaks here, just like as a general heads up. Not saying you're talking about it, but Bringer ill. Yeah, so like again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not, but so like I've been like recently talking to like Yoji a little bit and Lin a little bit, and those two guys are like, I don't even know what to describe it. Those guys like are fucking on some shit. Like honestly, when they play the fucking game, like some of their content just fucking blows my fucking mind. But I've been like watching a bit of their content and a bit of their stuff. Let me just be the first to say it, bro. Like,
Kana's pretty cool. You should check her out.
Iglab Hyop is now following.
I Glab. That's I Glab. Thank you for the follow. Let me be the first to say it though. Like it is. It's oh Abi, what's up? Let me just be the first to say that if like the goats of the game or the people that are like really good at playing the game themselves say that Bringer is just a piece of shit that's only meant to be like fought with like Miyabi, that's probably a sign. You know what I mean? If they themselves are like, yeah, let's just like reserve that shit for let's just reserve that shit for Miyabi. Yeah, there's probably something to be said there. I had to go Pulcrum, Miyabi, Sokaku for Marionette, and Trigger Nicole and Yanagi for Butcher. Well, that should have worked, I think, right? Pulcrum, Miyabi, Sokaku. Honestly, couldn't you have gotten like Nicole, or was Nicole not available? Okay, I think that's actually as far as I can upgrade her right now. All right, actually though, I did get put on some fucking sauce, boys. Okay, whatever. Right now, I have Hugo, Lighter, Lycone for Team 1. I was saying it right. Wait, I was saying Drew Yuen's name right. Then why? Oh my gosh, man! Why am I getting such heat for that? Ugh, whatever, man. Have you seen anyone kill Marionette with Miyabi, Lycone, and Sokaku on mobile? On mobile, I don't think that sounds tough. So I'm struggling with all 3 bosses of Deadly Assault, maybe because my support agents are not built well. Can I ask, Abi, what do you when you say like struggle, like are you struggling to 3-star? Are you struggling to like 1-star or like 2-star, or like when you say like struggle, what do you mean? That was fucking putrid. Whatever. Kana, do you have any tip for how I could avoid leaks because they pop up when I'm not looking for them? Man, all you can do is just block them. Genuinely. Like, I wish I had better advice for you. I literally don't. I try to literally close my eyes as much as I can. And like, let me be the first to say, like, I understand, like, if you want to like look at leaks, you know, like, I get it. It's like sometimes tempting or whatever, but like, it just, I don't know. I don't like getting surprised. So like, for me, it's just annoying as fuck. Can I give you some advice on what to prioritize when building a character? Which character? And I could definitely, for sure. Pretty sure ZenlessZoneZero on mobile is a myth. No, honestly, sometimes I play Zenless while I'm shitting on the toilet. Honestly, it's like one of the nicest games to do your dailies on, if you think about it. Imagine. Yeah, we do. Imagine a bit we predict the next move of the boss because it'll be lag or something. So you're saying you guys are fucking psychopaths, is what you're telling me. Yo, what's up, Rot? Why do you have to specify the toilet?
Sassflare is now following.
I don't know. Sassflare, thanks for the follow. Hey, listen, you say that, I do know people that have shit in sinks before. Hey, disgusting and shit, but like, hey. To further my point, I'm out of storage. I've been playing Zenless on a 64 gigabyte. Dude, Forgotten Owl. Dude, I'm not joking. Listen, let me be the first to say, like, I've always been like
Applebee's got him too many times.
Fucking rascal. Let me be the first to say, I've never been like the sort of guy who's like, you know, I've never been the sort of guy who's like, oh, you know, like I feel so like I feel like I need like the best, like top of the line phone. Honestly, I'm not that like good at like responding to text and stuff. Not my strong suit, right? But as soon as I started playing more like gacha games, I swear, like I went from like seriously, I could have survived on God. I could have survived like my entire life with like a Nokia like flip phone, like, or like a brick, like a Nokia brick or something like that. And then the second that I started playing like gacha games, I'm like, how can I literally fit it on my phone? How? Like two gacha games, and it's like 120 gigs. Like, what? Huh? Listen, there's nothing wrong with taking a shit, okay? Especially if it's due to Applebee's. Well, since I have a soft spot for Anomaly characters, let's say Vivian, Piper, Grace, since those are the only Anomaly characters I have besides Jane. Okay, okay, so you need advice building a character. Okay, totally doable, totally understandable. Let's cook. Let's cook, shall we? So, let's start with like Vivian, okay? So this is like a pretty good way to approach like building characters in general when it comes to Zenless. And it's pretty straightforward, but first and foremost, if you haven't seen it, I think they actually have a plan that you can do now. A special training plan here at the top left. It's mostly good. It puts you in the right direction, but in case you're curious about just how to like build a character, something that you'll notice when you like start or you pick a character is that they'll have these highlighted stats, and these highlighted stats are important because they are usually the thing that are most important or that scale the most or scale well with what the objective of the character is. So like for Vivian specifically, you can see that's Anomaly Mastery and Anomaly Proficiency. Makes sense because she's an Anomaly character. But in terms of skill upgrades, if you're talking about most Anomaly characters, though you see mine leveled to 11, a lot of the times Anomaly characters don't gain that much value out of their skills. Like, and let me not lead you astray. That isn't to say that you don't get value from these skills here, but like compared to an attack agent, because the Anomaly agents primarily focus on the damage from their anomalies, these are usually for like chip damage, and they're used for like their days multiplier upgrades. What this means essentially is that though Anomaly characters do want their skills leveled up, the actual damage or a majority of their damage will come from the anomalies, which don't get upgraded by leveling these 5 abilities down here. At least for now and for the trending of most Anomaly characters currently. Now, that said, the thing that is important is the core passive, because usually upgrading your core passive will increase some sort of aspect of your Anomaly character. In this case, for like Vivian, it increases the bloom damage. And that obviously is pretty valuable. Dude, playing in power saving mode, my phone still turns on fire, by the way. Okay, but so then after the skills, in terms of building an Anomaly character, now the set for most Anomaly characters is pretty conditional. It does depend on who you're using. Fortunately, there isn't wide enough of a cast that you have to speak broadly, and instead you can go pretty specific to each character. And it's not that hard because there's so few Anomaly characters currently. But to kind of rein you in for a moment. Sorry, one sec. Okay, sorry. To rein you in, so basically what you're seeing here is there are 3, 6, 7 Anomaly characters. Miyabi kind of doesn't count because she doesn't really build or play like the normal Anomaly character. But all of these characters have a specific set that works with them, and we can just kind of go through each one very quickly. Chaos Jazz is really good for the electric characters in this game, so that means that a character like Yanagi, or for the electric and for the fire, I should say. So that means that Chaos Jazz is good for Yanagi, it's good for Bernice, it's good for Grace. And the set that I'm referring to specifically is this. What's up, Forgotten Now? It's 33 gigs on mobile. That is insane, by the way. But like for other characters, for instance, like wait, for someone like Jane, I know like Jane has this equipped and you might be wondering why, because like, you know, it's fire and electric. It's also decent. Cash, as I should say, is decent as a 2-piece off piece or a 2-piece offset. Offset meaning instead of the 4-piece set, it's a 2-piece set. And Chaos Chess in general is pretty decent for that purpose. Like you can just use it for the 2-piece set effect. However, for a character like Jane, it's actually better for you to have Fanged Metal instead, as it does, like, you know, after you apply Assault, it gives you that additional damage. However, we have one additional set since Zenless has recently released, like Faith Un's Melody. However, as of right now, this is only really best in slot as a 4-piece set on Vivian. Now, I apologize because like this is probably a bit in depth for what you're asking in terms of how to build a character. But long story short, you upgrade the skills, right? The skills that will, you know. Thank you for the follow, Forgotten Owl. You build the character, or you invest and you level up the skills of the character that you're investing in. I would say if you're a bit pressed for resources, definitely upgrade your core skill first, then maybe prioritize the ultimate and EX special of most Anomaly characters. If you're leveling up someone like Jane, it is probably equally as important to level up your EX, your special, or your EX and your ultimate as it is to level up your basic and your dodge, as you use them quite a bit. But otherwise, you know, the amount of value that you get out of leveling your skills is not nearly as significant as you think it is. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why my nose is so fucked up today. Super sorry for like blowing my nose into your ear. Thanks a lot. Hey, no problem. If you ever want, if you ever put down like your UID, I could take a look at your account on the Enka network. Oh, I have some questions. Okay. So as you know, I'm using the 64 mobile phone since I don't know what to do with my account. What do you think I should do since 1.7, since it's going to be my last update? Do you mean like as in you don't think you'll have enough space to play the game? Is that what you're asking? Fever sucks. I feel that. Thanks, man. I actually really appreciate that. I genuinely, I appreciate your understanding, guys. I don't know why my nose is so fucked up today. It's probably because I didn't get much sleep. Dude, that is crazy. A 64 gigabyte phone just doesn't fly. Yo, what's up, 60? Sorry, you just finished Miyabi's quest. Would you ask, Dilshad? Does Zenless have any universal weapons like Gacha? Like other Gachas? I mean, universal in what sense? Technically, the stun or the S rank engines or like the weapons of each type are quote unquote universal to each other, but there are no like, there's not like a weapon that each of the stun, attack, defense characters can all use. Pollen season is right. Pollen season is fucking right. Do I drop the UID here or in Discord? No, you can just drop it here. God damn. All right, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I apologize. I'm turning out the fucking face cam live. I'm not sneezing on stream for like fucking 2 hours straight. All right. Let's open up the let's open up this shit. Jesus Christ, my fucking nose. All right. All right, forgot now. Just as a heads up, if you guys give me your UID, that's fine. I just need you to tell me what you're looking for, or what you need help with. I have no context otherwise. Heard his light cone from Star Rail, the standard sword from Lua. I mean, generally speaking, there are then, I would say. But that's not like universal per se, you know what I mean? Did they beef up Dead and Butcher? I'm trying to get 9-star and I'm not getting it. What's the team that you're running? Okay, fuck it. Surely my nose is fine now. Do you think Yishuan will be cracked? Probably. I mean, they said that she's a Void Hunter level investigator. That's like the exact wording that they said. I'm assuming she's going to be about as strong as Miyabi. Hello, got a question. Do I should I skip later for Evelyn and Astra, considering I don't have any ice/ether main DPS? Just started trying to make DPS Ukaku because of that. Got 7 stars on this DA, 1-star middle. That like actually brings me to like something I feel like I want to talk about so bad. All right. I apologize for those of you that are waiting for your review. We got to talk about this though. So there's been something that I feel like I've wanted to talk about regarding ZenlessZoneZero for a minute, and it's specifically about like expectations. Now give me a moment, because again, I will be doing the account reviews and stuff. Don't get me wrong. However, we really do need to talk about something real quick. Now, I know when it comes to rating or assessing how strong a character is, a lot of the times people will say, you know, they rate it based on the endgame performance of characters, right? And the 2 endgame modes that we currently have, okay, technically there's 3, but the 2 endgame modes that give you recurring and like constant rewards right now are Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault. Now, the thing is, for Shiyu Defense, as you guys are seeing right now, it does require you to get S rank in order for you to get all the premium currency, right? However, if you take a look at Deadly Assault, technically speaking, you only need to hit 6 stars to get all maximum currency. Now, this is important for 2 reasons. Number 1 is because technically speaking, if you're someone that's just trying to skirt by, you don't really give it like, you know, you don't really care about like your overall account progression. Like if you're someone that, for instance, is like at the end game, or if you just don't really care about the game that seriously, truth be told, this like extra 240 like weekly shop currency is not going to be the end of the world for you. I'm pretty sure I calculated it. You're just missing essentially the equivalent to like these hi-fi master copies, which is like RNG. It's Gamba. You miss the equivalent to that, or like the ether plating agents. But I actually think it's kind of important we talk about it, because when people talk about how easy or how hard or like what their goals are with the game, because the guidelines or because the baseline for what
pretty cool. You should check her out.
Hal6yon is now following.
Hal, thank you for the follow.
Connor's pretty cool. You should check her out.
Buzakis is now following.
Jay Buzakis, thank you for the follow. Because of the fact that the line is technically lower in terms of the premium currency, I do want to say that though it is important, of course, to consider like how strong or how powerful characters are, if we're just talking about bottom line, if you're able to clear S rank Shiyu Defense, and if you're able to clear 6-star of Deadly Assault, you're technically not missing any premium currency weekly, you know? And I think there is something to be said about that. Hello, Connor came here from YouTube stream. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Sorry, guys. I know I'm like multi-streaming. I like to talk to both streams. I like you YouTube frogs. I like you Twitch frogs too. I split my attention evenly. I promise. It does not matter. You pick your choice of where you want to watch. Totally fine. No bias. Yeah. So the reason why I think it's important to talk about like this whole 6-star thing is because, truth be told, when someone like assesses or says that someone is strong, weak, etc., you know, they're saying that they're weak or strong compared to other characters, which is fine. But keep in mind that the baseline for Zenless right now is that everyone can clear, you know? And when people argue or debate, like sometimes they'll say like, oh no, I didn't 9-star Deadly Assault. Well, technically you just don't have to. And what's more is that technically speaking, it's not even such that you even have to like 2-star each boss. You know, a few of you guys have talked about how like you aren't able to like fight Bringer, or like Bringer's a pain, right? Well, technically speaking as well, because of the way that you can break it up, I mean, you could technically just 3-star 2 fights and completely avoid the third, you know? Like if Bringer is just annoying because you don't have the disorder, you don't have Miyabi, well, it is something where technically speaking, you could just 3-star 2 other sections. To make it even more like flexible for you technically as well, you can even go 3-2-1, and all you need is like, let's say 6,000 points on something like Bringer, 3-star on another, and like 14,000 points on a second. Now this isn't to say that, you know, like this is necessarily a good thing. Like, of course you'd love to be 9-star, and I'm not trying to discredit like when people say that a character is weak or something, but I just want you guys to have a bit of context that like when someone says that a character is weak, like weak does not even necessarily mean like you can't get the premium currency for the week. Like weak just means that like, yeah, it might take you a bit more effort, or it might be a little bit harder, but in most cases you can still get 6-star across the board. There's also other layers like Deadly Assault and other game modes have buffs and whatnot based on what benefits current banners. Yeah. For example, I couldn't get a high score on Dead End Butcher with Ellen, and then I realized his mechanics relied a lot on an anomaly. Exactly. I do also want to say, though it's a bit more nuanced than this, like, you know, I think there was a bit of concern from, I think, like the general populace about, you know, whether or not what is it? How do I say? There was like a bit of like concern from the community about whether or not, like, when a character comes out, if the buffs will only ever benefit the character for that one banner or for that one section. And if it feels like, you know, like Hoyoverse is just catering the content to just this 1 week, and then as soon as the banner goes away, boom, like you will never be able to play these characters again. I do want to alleviate some of your guys' concerns regarding that, because technically speaking, if you read what is it? Is it Dead End Butcher? Which one is it? Oh, sorry, the current buff. If you take a look at the current buff, you know, the EX special characters, the Ellens, and like, you know, the Silver Soldier Ambies and the GUNs are technically still getting value from like, you know, some of these buffs for Deadly Assault. So it's not to say that like if they have a current buff, they'll never get buffed again. They are notably going to be weaker, to be clear. But like, it's not as though like, you know, after a character's banner disappears, these characters will never have a buff again. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's important to state, because I don't think everyone necessarily follows the Deadly Assault rotations. But like, I think there's something to be said about it. Worn Out sucks. Yeah, I don't know about this one.
Kana's pretty cool. You should check her out.
Ricarbital is now following.
Ricarbital, thank you for the follow. I always think most of the Anomaly ones are pretty nice. I always get 5 stars. Should I give someone else my account so they can help me play 2.0? I think you should not account share, as that is TOS. I need advice. I lost on Hugo and currently debating if I should save from Miyabi or Astra. Man, I don't even know when Miyabi's coming back. If she's even coming back. I mean, presumably she'll come back at some point. Do you like Miyabi specifically for her design, or are you just looking for a strong DPS? Because there's a good chance that if you're just looking for a strong DPS, Yixuan is probably going to be the character for you. I honestly have been doing that 3-star 2 bosses and skip for lacking a 3rd team. Yeah, and look, I understand conceptually why that might be a problem, and like I'm gonna go a bit further and talk about like the HP inflation and maybe like the general like power creep concerns for Zenless, but like give a bit of context for it, or a bit of give a bit more like perspective and nuance to it. But I just want to like offer that solution to those of you that feel like you're struggling right now with the content. Now, I will say that, there's always the underlying, like, there's just going to be people that say if you just have like a baseline, or after you've leveled up characters to a certain level, like you can then just get better at playing the characters and you just won't be dog shit. I get that. However, it doesn't really help to say like, wow, you suck to someone that's like struggling. You know what I mean? Like you can't just, for some people, like as you guys are mentioning, like some of you guys are playing on like 64 gig phones. Like some of you guys aren't going to be able to play the game next patch. And like for those players, or for people that like play on the phone, it's not always possible to like, do all the technical like skills and combos to make up for the fact that you don't have a limited character, right? Can I recommend you a team for Dead and Butcher? Deadly Assault, Miyabi, Evelyn, Vivian, plus every support in the game. Dead and Butcher, honestly, I was able to clear with, I feel like most teams. This one is more attribute focused though. You could probably get away with using Miyabi for Dead and Butcher this time around, and Juyuan for Marionette. I'm hedging my bets on Miyabi coming back for 2.0. It seems fitting as big update powerful character. Seems to be the theme, maybe. I think it would have to be later into the patch, Mars. Like I think it would be crazy to try and like dilute the excitement for Yixuan and like Jufufu and the panda guy by like having everyone like swarm back from Miyabi. I feel like Bringer is impossible without Miyabi for me. Like the thing is that Butcher just has a really annoying mechanic that for most characters is just like not okay. The thing about Bringer. The thing about Bringer is that for the most part, when you think about how Bringer works, you want to like stun or freeze or like stop a Bringer from moving as much as possible. And it is nice to have things like parries and stuff to kind of deal with Bringer as a whole, right? Like that's why people like running like Miyabi, or they like running like that Lycone Sokaku team against Bringer when they can, because you can just like freeze him endlessly. The thing is though, is that if you aren't using Miyabi, even if you're able to meet the requirement or one of the conditions for clearing the hand, which is like applying disorder quickly, then you have to use a team that isn't able to like really stun lock or like daze Bringer, which makes the fight just not feel like good at all, Off topic kind of, but I started to try and get through my backlog of blue boxes. Where is my dust? Where are my charms? Hey, all I'm gonna say is Still Sleep, if you didn't do a couple weeks in like any of the adventure side story things, hey, that's your fault, my brother. That's not, hey, ain't no one to blame except for yourself. Can I move your face cam down? Yeah, sure. Sorry, sure. Oh, this does not help. I will move it to the top here. My scores were 34,000, 33,000, and 32,000. I did this in the middle of the night the other day. That E7 game is kind of okay, buddy. Okay. A lot of people say Miyabi's weapon is a must. Yeah, in terms of performance, Miyabi's W engine is like some of the highest value that you can get, not just because of the crit rate and how it helps you build the character, but also just because of like how well the weapon or the W engine passive synergizes with her. My only gripe with Deadly Assault is that they don't have bosses with more diverse boss weaknesses. For example, the last week we had Bringer, Complex, and Pompey, and the Anomaly buff was for physical and ether, which none of the bosses were physical weak and only one was ether weak. Drink water? Okay. I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I do want to say that more than other gacha games, I feel like I've had to be very aware of the elements in this game, and there are just like boss combinations that don't exist yet, or sorry, element combinations or element weakness combinations that just don't exist yet. For instance, I think what was it? There's currently, like, while there are like ice and ether weak bosses right now, I think it's like Marionette and Dead End Butcher. There still isn't like a fire and lightning or fire and electric weak boss. And there's also, I don't think, a single boss in the game that's like weak to both like ice and physical. I don't think there's a boss that's weak to like fire and ice. Like a lot of these combinations, like I get it, they don't want to like have the character or the boss feel like a bum. Like they want to make them cool and exciting, and they're usually like story bosses, as you've seen through a lot of these characters. But it does, I agree, it does lack a bit of a bit of variety when there's so few bosses in the game right now. Are Vivian, Asher, and Piper good for Dead End Butcher with free-to-play engines only? Why don't we find, hey, Mask Man, why don't we find out?
Hey, don't look down on me.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, by the way, I'm still so not used to Clayda's new voice. I don't think it's like that bad or anything. I'm just so used to like the old nasally voice that it's like, oh, can I even do this, team? Oh wait, no, I can.
Good day, Lord Phaeton.
Where's Piper?
Let's take a break.
You said free-to-play engines only. Oh, I don't really have free-to-play engines. Okay, Vivian's the only one that has her own engine. I guess I'll use Grace's or something.
I would never say, please lead the way, Lord Phaeton.
Oh my god, finally gameplay. All right, buddy. Okay, buddy. Wouldn't Nicole be better on that Typhoon team? Probably. It was like late at night. I would not claim to say that any of the teams that I used the other night were like necessarily super viable. That is definitely what I would say. That's definitely not a claim I would make about the team. Does he not? Oh, I was gonna say, does he not have a?
Stay away from me. Don't you know? Hit my first turtle in your face. You got it. I'm cruising now.
Oh, what the hell, this guy? He does a different, what the?
Notice me. Lord, don't underestimate me. I'm cruising now. Together, we'll compose a miracle. Don't you know? Hit my trust dirty little pig. Nothing Buckle up.
Okay, honestly, that didn't feel amazing. That honestly didn't feel amazing. I got an A. 16,000. I think probably if you optimize it a little bit, maybe you could hit 18. I definitely don't claim to be like an expert in like Vivian Piper, but honestly, it could have been worse. I used to say, yeah, I used the right team. She gets no uptime for oh, the only reason why I don't have that is because I don't have, what's it called?
You want to test my hammer? Good day.
I don't even think I have Weeping upgraded. Level 40. Surely that's not worth it. I just didn't have like a quote unquote free to play engine.
I would never turn down Lord Faven.
These can you try Jane, Bernice, Lucy if I have them? Yeah, I can. Jane, Bernice, Lucy. Okay.
Which alias should I use this?
Let's get going.
Oh, let me I think I unequipped someone.
Be my research subject.
Yeah, there it is.
Good day, Proxy. I'll beat everyone.
Did they increase the HP again this cycle? Was hard? I'm pretty sure someone said that they did. Honestly, I've never, not that I don't notice it, but like when people say that they, you know, when people like talk about like the HP in this game, the thing for me is that like I'm already dealing, you know, like, I don't know, something crazy like oh my god, I'm already dealing something crazy like 40,000 damage in some cases. So like, not to say that it's like unclearable or something, but like, you know, I don't know to what extent it like necessarily matters if I'm gonna do like 8 quintillion damage. It will matter at some point, don't get me wrong, but like right now it's like a little bit difficult for me to like not only notice it sometimes, but like be aware of it, because if you're like, for instance, able to clear, maybe it'd be like more of an issue if I noticed. Maybe if I was able to clear before, but I'm no longer able to, it'd be like more like kind of like an aware moment, but that's not even really the case for me. Because like I either have not been able to clear in the past, or yeah, I've either not been able to clear in the past, or it just hasn't like come up for me.
Here's a taste of the abyss. Don't get sloppy.
You got a B? Hey, congrats, man. If that's what you need, of course. Obviously, if you got a B, we might have to talk a little bit because, of course, you don't want to be. Oh, is my character dead? Oh, she is. Oops. Nicole, M6, Piper, Vivian is cracked. That could be a good team too. You're right. Sorry, let me lock the hell in, boys.
Here's a taste of the abyss. Let's make this quick.
God, man, the fact that
Wanna know what lurks in the darkness? Careful. I bite. Now, you're the prey.
oh my god, why the fuck is it? Dude, Jane keeps fucking dying. Dude, most of the time, oh god, dude, the one thing that I hate the most about Zenless, not that I think it needs to change necessarily, but I hate that like oftentimes when I'll play like another title, they'll have like some other games will like give you iframes with the character like while you're off field or something, and Zenless does not. Like with Zenless, if your character is off field, they are not safe, my man. Like they will just die, and there's like no getting around it. I hate that so much.
Let's make this quick. The final act begins now.
Ready for a fiery A beautiful shooting star.
Jane, Bernice, Lucy. Jane, Bernice, Lucy is like one of the more common Anomaly teams, isn't it?
Taste of the abyss. easy. I'll make it painless.
And the winner is me!
Found your weakness. The final act begins now.
Bro, what is bro even doing right now?
Ready for a fiery feast?
Careful. I bite. Wanna know what lurks in the darkness? Now, you're the prey. Sorry. Hit him where it hurts.
Dude, this boss attacks too much for its own good. Legit.
A beautiful shooting star! Hey, let's have some fun!
Dude, that boss, I'm pretty sure if you like played it out a little bit better, you could hit 20. I think like more than anything else, that boss feels the worst because it's like literally bashing your skull in. Yo, what's up, Gajel? How you doing, man? I mean, for what it's worth, though, if you swap Bernice to Vivian, like, I mean, I cleared it with like 33k or something. I wanted to go back and talk about I wanted to take a moment to talk about it though. So I know like I touched on it a little bit the other day, but I do want to talk about it because like yeah, Target. Like, you know, there's people that have been talking about like HP inflation and like power creep and like, you know, I want to make sure like you guys understand or like have like a bit more context and like perspective. Like to be clear, if you don't think that like HP inflation, I don't think anyone is debating that HP inflation exists. It is real. Like it exists. It takes longer to hit bosses or to kill bosses. But I think they're like that you do need a bit of like context for it because again, like though you can like make the argument that like no, like you don't ever need to have or you don't ever need to increase the health of bosses. It is true and it is the trend, if I'm not mistaken, for most Hoyo games at this point, that when the game first comes out, the bosses are like piss easy or they're like piss easy so that like most players can clear them. And now like here's where like you need like a bit of context, a bit of nuance, because I think if all they had done or if all they had done was make the bosses like a bit tankier so that, you know, like they're basically acclimating for the fact that people are getting stronger disk drives, I think that's fine. But obviously like HP inflation is a concern and will be a concern if it comes to a point where like they just keep infinitely scaling and then like the boss starts hitting a point where like Ellen and some of these other characters who without a buff aren't able to clear. Now, again, to be clear or for transparency's sake, like I do think if Ellen and a lot of these characters are still able to hit the 6-star, there is something to be said there. Like, are they weak? Are they potentially power crept, which we'll get into in a moment? That could be the case. But, you know, the bottom line is the bottom line. If you're able to get a 6-star, I mean, like, you know, even with Jane and Bernice, like, even if you want to say like, oh my God, like Jane and Bernice got like power crept with like Dead and Butcher, which like I don't even think is necessarily true because it's like completely off element. Literally, I didn't use a single on element for that character or for that boss. Hey, you still get 6-star. Now, again, that's not to say it's not concerning or like trending to be concerning, because if you're not able to do that, or if they continue like increasing the health of these characters and you're not able to clear the content, well, that's a problem, right? That's where you do need to
Wow, looking good. Can
add
you
buffs.
jump for the camera?
Shut the hell up, Glass. But like basically, like, you know, HP inflation and power creep kind of go hand in hand, because like HP inflation is really only a concern if the power creeping and if like these characters, or if any character is not able to like 6-star or S rank shield defense. Now again, you can also argue that like another aspect or another branch to consider here is that like if the average player is not able to clear some of these characters or clear some of this content, it could also be concerning. But truth be told, that's like such a, you know, accounting for like the average player base for competitive or endgame modes is a little hard, because like, you know, you have to consider that some of the, or like a majority of the average player base is legit, like, you know, they're playing on like the train or like while they're pooping, and like they will in some cases play like up to like half as bad, or they'll play like at half the capacity or like even worse than PC players, which like makes, I think, accounting for the average player a little bit difficult. Like obviously that's the main player base, but I think there's something to be said about like, you know, like I don't think you can necessarily say that like if the average LM player is unable to clear, like I don't necessarily think that means that no LM player can ever clear, but it is an important aspect to consider, you know. Yo, take it easy, Zol. As long as you're having fun playing, you're good. I mean, like that's obviously like a fair factor. Like that's like the underlying like aspect of this all. But like there is like, you know, it is important to think about, because, you know, if they do release a character that admittedly isn't able to either get S rank or 2-star, like from a power level point of view, it is kind of, that is concerning, isn't it? Like just objectively speaking, if that's not happening, like, and you're a limited character, you know, that's you're just getting weaker. Like there's no getting around it. There's no subjectivity there. What's up, Ola? Hey, Connor, for here from E7, but I started playing Zenless. I'm gonna make a new player guide for when season 2 drops. Sure will. I understand that, Isaac, but again, like, you know, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Zenless. Like, again, I think you know, it is a little bit, it's hard to defend, you know, or it's hard to give benefit of the doubt to even a game like Zenless, when like, honestly, I don't necessarily understand the design and balance philosophy behind just giving characters or giving bosses more health. Again, like I think that has like a concerning implication to it, but I also think that Zenless is like a game that has very powerful characters, and I don't have an answer for how they'd otherwise balance the character or balance like the bosses around. Like the new mechanic thing, I know a lot of people like usually are quick to offer as like oh well, don't make the boss, you know, higher health, make them have more mechanics. I don't think that's always as easy or as good of an answer as you think it is, because there are definitely bosses that are very unenjoyable to fight against, and it is because of their mechanics, not because of how long it takes to fight them. So it is like a juggling act. But I think like the one thing that I think most people can agree with is that, you know, if you're clearing, you know, someone, or if you're clearing Deadly Assault at 20,000 currently, there is a very likely chance that next rotation you just don't clear, and it's not like you're playing any worse. anyways, so like I've already said my piece. I think HP inflation is concerning. I don't think it's at the point right now necessarily where people are unable to get 6 stars or unable to S rank certain Shiyu defenses, especially if you put the time in to like learn the fight and stuff. If it is for some players, like again, I still think that's problematic. But like I do think that people need to understand like where the line is drawn and starts, because again, I think like the 6 star line is a bit more what's the word? It's a bit more generous. Obviously, and it's a bit easier to hit like the 14,000 point limit as opposed to the 20,000. And you know, I've talked to Yoji about this. I've talked to like other like speedrunners and like theory crafters about this. Like Shiyu defense guys nowadays is definitely feels less of an endgame mode than Deadly Assault, which is why I'm doing a lot of my comparison and talks right now based on Deadly and not Shiyu. But even for Shiyu, like getting S rank in Shiyu and 6 star for Deadly Assault, like in terms of HP inflation, in terms of how that affects power creeping, I think that's the bottom line that I think it's fair to start at. Now, ideally, everyone in the game or every character in the game could, you know, hit 9 star and be like triple or, you know, in S rank all Shiyu defense. But like, that is literally the floor. Like, it's right here. Like, I honestly, if you're losing sleep over like 240 investigation merits and like 75k Denny's, I understand. But like, you know, you're not missing out on pull currency, which I think is, you know, there's something to be said about that. I am gonna be working on that gen. Actually, it's completed. It's coming out, and I'm gonna be working on a Lycone video like immediately after. Dude, thanks Tobias. I appreciate it. Yeah, also to that point, right? Like, you know, some people will say like, oh, don't do HP inflation, give more mechanics. Do you guys know how many people bitched and moaned about like Thanatos and Dullahan when those characters came out, or like when the game first came out? Everyone's like, why do they keep teleporting? I hate this. I'm trying to hit this character with my characters and they keep teleporting around. Like, mechanics are not, you know, always the easiest or always the most like surefire solution. Like, it has been proven through time and time again that some characters or some mechanics are not what they seem. What do you think about DPS Ben? Okay, you know what? Let's talk about power creep on the topic of DPS Ben. So, truth be told, I think power creep is a concern for any game, but of course it kind of depends on like what your goals are for the game. Again, like I gave you the baseline for the characters right now, and for characters that were formerly or at some point able to hit 6 star and S rank Shiyu defense, I don't think, like, in terms of that guideline or in terms of that baseline, any of the characters have been quote unquote power crept, or I don't think that they're weak, so weak I should say, that you're not able to do that. Now, of course, like Miyabi, Hugo, actually I don't know quite enough about Hugo. I haven't tested him quite enough just because he requires a limited character, but it is objective to say, or there is no subjectivity when I say that Miyabi has like blown Ellen out of the water in terms of her usability, in terms of how easy she is to play, in terms of how free to play Miyabi's teams can be. You know, Miyabi blows Ellen out of the water in every single aspect. Miyabi also is usable and more usable in like other bosses. Like, I don't know if you guys have tried using Ellen in Bringer. That just doesn't work. But like on the topic of power creeping, because I think it's important to discuss, power creep is, I think, something that is so delicate and so fragile, because no one wants to hear that their character is weak. You know, everyone wants validation in the fact that they made the right choice in pulling for a character, right? But like the honest to God truth is that, like, from a business point of view, like it would just not make sense for any company to not release a character that is worth pulling for you. Unless if they're a guy character, because that's kind of what they did with Hugo. And honestly, I don't think I've seen such little interest from Hugo before, which is honestly kind of a shame, because I think Hugo is pretty cool and is like a pretty cool character in general. That said, in terms of power creeping for characters in Zenless, you know, although I think the easiest and like the most prominent example of this is like Miyabi and Ellen, with everyone saying like, oh my god, look at how much better Miyabi is than Ellen. I think there are other case studies that you could kind of go by to kind of illustrate like how weak or how strong or how concerning power creep is in this game. I think one of those cases is like, maybe if you want to analyze like how strong someone like Evelyn is compared to someone like Soldier 11. Like Evelyn, in every single case or in every single way, does just blow Soldier 11 out of the water. It's not even a competition, actually. But I mean, for what it's worth, you know, just because a character is limited in release doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be like leaps and bounds stronger than their non-S rank limited comparison or their non-S rank limited, you know, peer. And the reason why I say this is because actually, you know, like one of the characters that is still kind of performing okay compared to their S rank equivalent is Piper. Piper's still pretty good. You know, like regardless how you feel about her, like Piper and Jane have pretty comparable clear times and like deadly assault scores, depending on like, you know, like who the boss is. And I think that is like, there is something like, you know, to be said about that. But in addition to this, I think
I jumped on Twitch. Needed to check MSTH01 just resubscribed for
the Monster of Doom.
Months.
Thank you for the sub.
On Twitch. Needed to check MSTH.
But I think there is something to be said, like when you go through like each power creep case to see how much better the characters are. And I think like while there are certainly characters or S rank characters that have felt stronger than others, number one, I think like sometimes it just makes sense. Like there's no way you're going to release an S rank limited agent and then have the A rank in every single case be better or equivalent to them. That's just like, what the hell are we talking about? Like from a business POV, like that just doesn't make sense. From a player point of view, maybe it's amazing if all the A ranks are just as cool and as successful or as powerful as the S rank limiteds. But if I have no incentive to pull like the cool S rank shiny character, like what's going on here? Like that doesn't really make sense. I do want to say though that although you know, although people compare
that HP inflation this. Why can't we just goon in peace, man?
Well, listen, if you just want to goon in peace, that's fine too. But you know, like this conversation's been going on for a while. Not even just my yap session, but just in general, like this talk of like how relevant like ZenlessZoneZero's power creeping is. Like I think you're like legit like sticking your head in the ground if you don't think about, or if you don't like concern yourself with how strong a character is, when like it is pretty prominent or it's pretty clear that like some weeks you'll literally be like fighting, having similar buffs to what you had last week or like in previous weeks, and you're just not clearing. Like if that happens to you and you don't like go, what the hell just happened? I don't know, maybe you just don't care about the game enough, and that's okay. But for those of you that are actually paying attention, like if that happens to you, and I know like if that happened to me, I'd be kind of mad. Like imagine if like, you know, you start, you know what I mean? Like imagine if you did like the same exercise or you did like the same exact thing to like build a house, but then like one time that you build it again for like the third or fourth time, it just doesn't, like it's just weaker than all the other times. Like what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like what just happened? And I think that there's real valid concerns behind like not wanting a character to be power creeped. And again, it all stems back to like validation and not wanting to pull for like a character that's ass and wanting to be able to clear all the content in the game. But I do think, again, like I do want to say, at least right now there is good news, which is that like, you know, at least from what I can tell, Number one, they've talked about the dev note where they said that they're going to, they're considering or they're already looking at old characters and seeing how they synergize with the new characters in the future. Now, whether or not that is something that they did with Vivian intentionally with Jane, I'm not sure. But technically speaking, Jane was on death's door in terms of like how strong she was, and she was and still is pretty comparable to Piper. But once Vivian got released into the game, you're just lying if you don't see how strong Jane and Vivian are together. Like, the two work seamlessly and perfectly off of each other in terms of how they work and in terms of like how they play. Like, their game plans are extremely aligned. They're synergistic. And if that's what they're going to do going forward, honestly, that's a good thing. You know, like, imagine if they release like a support in the future where it's like, if you time your attacks or if you like space out your attacks, like in the same rhythm that Soldier 11 has to space out her attacks, like Soldier 11 gains like 200% bonus damage. Or you know what I mean? Like, if you have consecutive basic attacks with a character and exclusively basic attacks, you gain like more damage and you don't use any charge attacks. Like, that's, you know, like if they release a character that buffs an older character, I can't be mad. Like, that's only a good thing, you know? And like, if they're willing to do that with Jane and Vivian, maybe they'll be willing to do that with a limited character. Maybe they'll be willing to do that with a standard character. I honestly doubt they'll do it with standard characters. And honestly, if you're a standard character, your fate is sealed pretty much with games like this anyway. But if people are concerned about like Ellen, and then like what happens if, like, so realistically, this is like something that could happen. What happens when they really actually release a strong limited ice dedicated stunner that like buffs dash attacks and basic attacks? You know, like, yeah, it does suck. Like, you'd probably wish that you didn't have to pull for a new character for Ellen to be relevant. But I do think that it's cool that I can pick Vivian and now I can play Jane. You know, it's not perfect. I do wish that they would just implement and add the Lost Void kits. Like, that's my bottom line. I think what they should just do is just add the Lost Void kits so that they deal more damage. But like, unexpectedly, though, kind of welcomingly, if that's even a word, like I welcome the fact that I can play Jane now with Vivian. I mean, if you guys saw at the start when I did my Deadly Assault, my middle Deadly Assault clear was Jane Vivian this week. That's kind of how Genshin buffed old units with characters like Farina. Yeah, and again, like, I get it. Like, you know, you can say that they're like, in essence, creating a problem and then like selling the solution, which I think is, you know, that's not an amazing way. Like, that doesn't feel very consumer friendly. Don't get me wrong. But I think maybe a middle ground is to like give the kits and also do that. Like, I think what would be absolutely fantastic is if like you make a limited character, like, okay, just hear me out for a second. I think hypothetically speaking, if what they did was they released a limited character, or like, sorry, they add the Lost Void kits to all the characters. Let's say all the characters that get it, like Ellen or some of the older ones, they go from like, you know, being B tier to like A or like bottom of S tier, and then they release like a new limited agent that works with Ellen, and then Ellen becomes like OP again. Like, if you have like this niche specific character, I think that'd be pretty cool. You know, don't make the limited agent so OP that you're like, hey, everyone's got to pull this Miyabi level stunner or else. But like, if they're exclusive or if they're specifically good with like one character, or if they're like niche and they make one character good, I think it would be unprecedented at this point. And I think, like, honestly, kind of interesting. Like, I'm curious like how you guys would feel if Ellen goes from being like the strongest limited character to release, falls into a ditch, then they like kind of take her out of the ditch a little bit by giving her the Lost Void kit, and then they release a character who synergizes, or like a set that synergizes with her so well that she becomes like a top tier DPS. That would be cool. And again, like, I think there's like a little bit of like a healthy balance there. Like, it's like a push and pull, like consumer friendly. They just for free, they released the Lost Void kit, but then like also to kind of sell Ellen or like to sell a new character as well, they introduced another character, but in selling the character or like in selling the new character, they also make like this old character that is like a fan favorite, like stronger and more beloved, you know? Like I think that could be an interesting idea. Do you guys think like, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel like it's a bit more balanced on both sides. Like you sell a new character, yes, but they're like more niche, yes, but they buff an old character so that they're like very strong, you know, and like they get their, you know, they get their comeuppance. If they just make her, if they make her just mid minimum, that would be nice. But that's the thing, like just making a character mid, like, okay, then what? Do they have to add like her Lost Void kit too? You know, that I think that's, you know, that's not really like talking about the root, like the root of this, like the root issue with the character. You know what I mean? Dash attack buffing stun would be massive for Haramasa. Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Like Haramasa was like never super strong, but like let's say they also add like a Lost Void kit for Haramasa, and then again, same character buffs like dash attacking. Technically, we buff Billy, Haramasa, Ellen, all at the same time. Isn't that kind of like a field day for like most people? I think that would be kind of cool. What's up, Muhammad? There are lots of new agents coming. This might happen. I think seriously, like even if they want to sell it, like if they want to put it like an A rank on like a rerun banner or like an A rank on like some character that you pull for, and they make Ellen that much stronger, they make Haramasa that much stronger to like try incentivize people to like pull for them. Like, I don't know, I get it. It doesn't feel good from like a consumer POV, but like it's a balance, right? Like they're a business, they want to make money, but also like you want to be nice to the consumers. Like consumers win because their old character that they feel like is power crept is now a bit stronger. But then like you kind of, you know, it's like the olive branch, like give us the kit or like give us like a set or something that makes these old characters feel stronger. And then like, okay, maybe we'll like pull for the character, you know? And if the difference is significant enough that it actually becomes fun to play the old characters and they're more relevant or viable, well, you know what? Like at least it's like a handshake and you're not just getting screwed over by the company and they just leave Ellen in the ditch to die. I can't wait to see what buff Billy gets. I'll use Billy till I stop playing. I think them considering Ellen says a lot. I agree. I agree. The crazy thing about Zenless is how specialized certain units are, but they dominate their niche. Yeah, I think, you know, like this is probably like a good time to talk about it. I don't know if any of you guys have played Etheria Restart, but that game has like like a really interesting balance POV where like essentially, well, the game hasn't released yet, but their design philosophy is that they want characters to be really strong, like damn near OP actually, for certain content, but then be like ungoddamn usable in others, which I think is honestly pretty cool. Like, you know, not feeling as though like your character is bad anytime you boot up a game feels like pretty validating. And I also think that like if you naturally incentivize people to pull for other characters or to want to like and pull other characters because they do something special and they allow you to clear content, I think that's like a cool concept. Like I think niche characters that do something very well, that's like a very rewarding experience. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got to like level 40, I think, and then in Etheria's like in Etheria's beta. And then I, you know, like I'll probably come back to it and try it a bit more once the content comes out. Someone, oh, actually, I want to talk about it real quick. because you know, it was actually brought up as like a pretty good point. Someone I was watching a YouTube video. I don't know exactly what the guy's name is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but someone mentioned that the tutorials in Zenless are kind of lacking. And I agree. Like, I don't think they're perfect. I do think that these could use a little bit of work. But that does bring up like a good point, actually. And one of the points that he brought up, and it's actually something that I've been waiting for honestly, as a guide maker. I know this is like not an issue that like really affects any of you guys, but like something that I do think I wish that they added, like I really wish that they added what is it? Shoot, wait one sec. I just need to run a team. I really wish that they added the boss enemies to the testing room. Like, I don't know why I don't know if it's just like too difficult or something to... No, sorry, I wasn't trying to look for the tutorials, but like, I don't know why either we can't make these bosses like the boss variations, but like, I think it is really annoying. Like, they made one edit, which like they did all this stuff, but like you actually can't, like, you know, okay, like one of the most like powerful or like one of the most like talked about and like, you know, strong techniques in the game right now is chain attack canceling. And if you guys aren't familiar with what chain attack canceling is, like, you know, basically what it is that you get to give up one specific chain attack so that you could get like 2 chain attacks on another character. But if I try to do the chain attack cancel here, because it's an elite enemy, I just can't do it here. That's pretty annoying. Now, I do want to say in that same video, they were saying how like you can't simulate the stats of like enemies that you want, which I get. That's like, I think a little bit like, I don't know necessarily how much I would use like the conditionals of like the conditional buffs or effects of like Deadly Assault or Shiyu in like the training room. I think it is just fine if I could literally fight or test or like practice the boss rotation or like the boss like mechanics of a boss in a training room. I think that would be more appreciated, like, or more priority than anything else. But it is fair to say as well, like these bosses or these enemies don't even share the same elements or the same like defenses as other characters. Again, that's, again, to be clear, not saying that like, oh, screw you, Hoyoverse, because you gave me, you know, you gave me a training, like a training area, and I'm ungrateful for it. Like, I love the fact that they opened the game with the training room, but they made adjustments to it like very early on, right? And like, I think you just can make some of these tutorials, or like you just can make the training room like a little bit better, and I don't think it's that much more difficult in theory. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't state enough. Like, even just one boss enemy, like a single boss enemy, like just so I can show you guys like what the chain attack cancel looks like. Like, I cannot stress enough how important or like how relevant the chain attack cancel is for a lot of these characters as of late. And I just can't, like, I just always have to go to Deadly Assault to do it. I despise that particular elite enemy. Most annoying attack pattern short of the big red dude. Yeah. I'm not also a fan. I'm also not a fan of Thanatos. Okay, to wrap things up though, I just wanted to give my like, you know, like my summarization, my thoughts about like the HP inflation thing, because I think there have been like really good points brought up about it. Like, you know, HP inflation, though it may not be like the most like glaring issue right now, though I think there are people that are seeing the effects of it, like cracks are coming through right now. I think it's concerning if it stays at where it is right now. I think I could have sworn I heard someone say, or I could have sworn I heard someone say that the HP went down a little bit, or it like stagnated. I don't think it increased again this time around, something like that. If the HP inflation like stagnates or it stays at a certain level, I think that would be great. in terms of HP inflation to begin with, like I think we noticed the biggest jump in terms of like HP pool the second that Miyabi came out, and that kind of makes sense because if you couldn't tell, Miyabi one shots every boss, and like you have to increase the health of the bosses at some point so that the bosses don't die in 10 seconds, because that's not even a fight. But whether that's like a problem with the fact that they buffed Miyabi to be too strong, or whether that's like something where like, you know, they deserve to be higher health, is neither here nor there. I do think though that a trend that, again, most games, not even just Hoyoverse games, have done is that like after the first month, they'll adjust settings so that the game feels a bit more comfortable and it feels like you're actually fighting against something difficult or tough. And again, while I understand that they can introduce mechanics or other things to also make the boss feel like a bit tougher, like they do in a lot of cases literally give you training wheels in terms of how easy some of the bosses are just because it's early on in the game. That's all I wanted to say about HP inflation. Again, a concern, but like I think no matter what, there was always going to have to be a set level of HP inflation at the beginning. I'm not trying to justify it, but like in case you're curious, I don't think this is like a trend that'll stop. Like you do need to go from like 10 HP to 100, like, you know, after the first month of a game in a lot of cases. And otherwise, I think if you don't do that, and if you just give everyone 100, like give all the bosses 100 HP at the start, like people are just not going to clear, and they're going to get like, I think they're going to lose that flow state, or they're going to feel more frustrated, and I think people are not going to like it. Now in terms of power creeping, again, I think, you know, all these things are concerning, and like you can always be concerned with trends and patterns as you see them come out. Like I would never stop, or like, you know, I'm a pretty paranoid and like a pretty like risk averse sort of person, which is funny because I'm a content creator. But anyways, like I'm a pretty risk averse and I'm a pretty like paranoid person in general. And like, yeah, when I start to see like, you know, if I've seen someone falling off, like, or, you know, what's like a good analogy? If I've like seen or I've heard that a bunch of people fall off a cliff, I'm probably not going to stand near the cliff because I'm a little bit afraid of that, you know? And even if I know that like the cliff is sound and like it's never cracked, or like, you know, people have never fallen off, or like if the road has never like sunk in, or you know what I mean? Like, bad analogy aside, if you're afraid of power creep because you've seen other Hoyoverse titles do it, that's okay. I think that's fine. But I think if you're theorizing or hypothesizing how bad it is in the future, like I think you should also consider how it is in reality right now. And in reality, currently, you know, Ellen, if I'm not mistaken, is still able to get 2 stars for everything. And if you're able to get 2 stars, that gives you the 6-star reward. If you're able to S rank Shiyu defense with her, that's fine too, you know? And in that sense, if you're able to do both of these things, well, it's not the end of the world right now, you know? Okay, sorry. I just wanted to like make a timer. I just wanted to make like a... Sorry, I asked my editor to help me write that because I wanted to make sure I had that like written down. I talked about HP inflation last time around, but I feel like I didn't talk about it for long enough, so he was struggling a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. I do also want to say one other thing. When you're talking about like the characters in this game, I do want to say that, like, you know, if you are someone that feels that power creeping is an issue, I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to call out anyone in particular, but I have seen this from a few people in different communities, like no one community. It might just be like the general Zenless community as a whole. I've seen a lot of people like either gacha hop or they'll hop from like community to community. They're like, power creep in this game is so bad. And then I go to like look at their, like, you know, I go to like, I'm just morbid curiosity. I'll go to like look at their stats and stuff. Like, motherfucker doesn't have their traces upgrade Like they don't even know that Miyabi's like passive like needs to be stacked to 6. Like they're thinking that all of Ellen's damage just comes from the EX special. They don't even do like her basic attacks after. I'm like, dude, I get it. Like you can be concerned with power creeping and like all these things, but like, damn, bro, like do a little bit of research. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm sure Miyabi feels like the worst character in the game if all you're doing is, you know, you're like half chub. Like like what? Like, come on, man. Like don't be dishonest with your critique of the game, you know? Oh, you guys talking about like a guide for the characters? Pompey, yeah, okay. The only reason why, honestly, I haven't necessarily made a guide for a lot of the bosses is because it feels like, number one, when I was originally going to do it, it felt like they were releasing bosses super regularly. They stopped doing it nearly as much because like they stopped turning like every character in the story into a boss. It might be something that I go back and go through just so you're like a bit more aware of like what the boss mechanics are. Actually, I'll look into that. Boss mechanics guide. But originally I didn't want to do it because it felt like they were releasing different versions of the bosses over and over. Some level of competence should be required for endgame modes. Yeah, and like the thing is, like, again, I'm not trying to say that, you know, you have to watch. Though it would be great, by the way, to watch my guides. Haha, youtube.com/content. But anyways, like, I'm not saying you have to watch my guide in order to like clear the content, or you should have to watch a guide to like, you know, to clear like a video or something, or to clear like an endgame content or an endgame fight or something. But like, it is called endgame, you know? And if you're trying to like let's say someone starts Zenless for the first time, they're like level 10 and they're trying to take on Butcher and they get fucking like, you know, they got like whooped. Okay, like, you know, temper your expectations a little bit. I think, again, like if someone's read up on everything and is still struggling, like, yeah, okay, like there's something to be said there, you know? I've been mostly reading through and studying the bosses for myself. I sit there in lobbies just dodging, learning the moves before I take it in full for some. Yeah, and there's literally no downside to it. Jazzy, you better have downloaded BDO. That's all I'm saying. What's the solo ability run guide to floor 100? Well, okay, for what it's worth, the bosses start, or the enemies start to repeat themselves after I think like stage 55 or something. As far as I could tell though, the tower bosses haven't gotten power crept, or they haven't increased their HP. It's like a stagnation, like it starts to just repeat. That's why I think there's some guy in like Asia or China, he's on like stage 500,000. I definitely positively have not. Give me a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs down. Is there a new class since Deadeye? No, but I like low-key want to play either Dark Knight or Deadeye. They look so cool. I play tower right up until the point where the attack indicator stops showing up, then I'm out. Dude, you know, like, oh, like I hate being a defender of a certain game, because honestly, while I love Zenless, I'm also like an S6 Zany owner. Like, I love action combat games. That's why BDO, by the way. I love action combat games. I love grinding. And while I understand that not everyone likes grinding, I love action combat so much. But it, like, ooh, one of the things that irks me so bad is when people say that, like, you know, Zenless has like no depth, has like no creativity. And then I like, you know, I see like people like Yoji or like Lin, when they do their like runs and stuff on YouTube, that I can't do that. Like, they're killing the bosses at like M0R1 and I can't do that. And I know a lot of people can't do that, which, like, for me, when I then see people say like, oh, no depth, ugh, like, you know, like Zenless could never, like, damn, bro, like, okay, if the game was so easy, then how come they turn off like attack indicators and like everyone gets fucking, you know, and everyone gets slapped up, down, left, right, and center for like a lot of the tower bosses, unless if they have mindscapes. And like, how come How come then, like, you know, on average, people are only doing like 30 or like 20,000 damage to like the deadly assault bosses when technically you could kill them? Like, I think, honest to God, if you like, I think this would be so good from Zenless if they did this. Like, I guess it would kind of incite a bit of FOMO, and I don't think it would be good, but like, I wish that they gave you like a reward for killing the boss. Oh, that would piss people off so bad. It would make them so mad. It would make them so mad because so many people I know would not be able to do it. So many people. If you're like an M0 player, like I know there's so many people out there that are like elitists. They're like, Zenless content is super easy, and they're like saying this while they're doing. I'm not saying I even do like better score wise than these players, but let's say like Zenless is so easy, and they'll do like 25 or like 30 on deadly assault. I'm like, ooh, man. Like, how about you do all the endgame bosses and you kill them? What has possessed me to play BDO? I watched a trailer, Jazzy, of like some Final Fantasy thing or something, and then I just like went through my backlog of Steam games and I saw Black Desert. I tried even playing Standard League Path of Exile because I just wanted to play Flicker again. I just wanted to like feel something aside from like staring at guides all the day or all day long for Zenless. And then my brain was like, all right, we're back to BDO. The red, yellow flash are literally a built-in crutch system. Yeah, the thing is like I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you take off the lights, it is not that easy. And like the bosses, they fucking hurt. Like, again, if you want to say that, you know, if you want to say that like clearing the end game of ZenlessZoneZero for its full rewards is easier than most gacha games, number one, I don't think that's a bad thing. But number two, like, you know, to say that there is like no like difficulty, there's no creativity, there's no value, like, dude, just go do the tower. The tower is kind of hard. Like, you know, maybe it's not that hard if you spend like hours upon hours or if you have Mindscapes doing it. But like, I promise you, if you tried to do that like no hit bullshit, bro, that's not easy. That's not fucking easy. It really isn't. And that mode hasn't gone away, I think, right? Like, I don't know. Like, again, I hate this, like, oh, like, I'm gonna go and defend Zenless or like the company. Like, I have like no, you know, I have no reason to defend like that specifically. But like, look at this shit, bro. Man, I've only got 10 goddamn Demon Lord medals. This content is hard as fuck. Like, I play this game for a living, and I've got 10 medals. That means I've only gotten 10 stages where I've not gotten hit. Barriers don't work, by the way, in case you're not informed. You can't even like Caesar your way through that shit. Dead End Butcher feels like the hardest boss in the game with no indicator. I think Jane and Hugo are dude, if Hugo ever gets added into the tower, I'm gonna lose my mind, bro. Oh my god. What's my opinion on the Zenless HP inflation drama? I already talked about it a little bit. I think like worrying about, like, being concerned about a game that you love is never a bad thing. Like, criticism, you know, I should say, the worst thing you could do, or the worst thing for a game or for anything, or for, how do I even describe this? What's worse than hate, than criticism, than concern, than worrying, than whining is apathy. Because if you don't care about something, then it literally doesn't even exist to you. And like, you know, though I understand that being a whiny, like, you know, a whiner for no reason is annoying, you know, like a lot of the complaining that comes from this game, or, you know, I want to believe that a lot of the whining and the complaining that comes from a game, even if it's whining and complaining, still comes from like a place of wanting the game to be good, because they want something from the game. Like, they want to be able to like show off the fact that they play the game. The only hard time I have with Zenless is if there's two enemies bosses that hit you at the same time and you have no room to dodge and parry. Yeah, I think for what it's worth, Mars, I think that's part of the reason why, like, they're okay, I can't say for sure, but like they kind of led me to believe that they don't fuck with Shiyu defense that much anymore, based on the fact that, like, you know, they got rid of like the second wave before Notorious Hunt. I don't know if that just means that they don't like the gatekeeping of farming, or if that they're considering that like multiple bosses in a game like this is just dog shit. If I can just be extremely candid with you for a moment, as someone that again has like been playing Wuwa and Zenless simultaneously and has made content for both games, the number one thing that irks me about both games is accounting for multiple enemies. Like, that is just literally one of the most annoying things to cater to or to like consider that I think I've ever seen. Like,
Kana's pretty cool. You should check her out.
oh,
Jayojo is now following.
Jayo, thank you for the follow. Like, there are just some there's just some bosses that you can fight with one team and it's fine and there's no problems whatsoever. Zero issue, literally zero issue whatsoever. But then like you'll pull up and like the boss will have a wave before that has like 8 enemies or like 5 enemies, and now all of a sudden you feel more incentivized to take Nicole, or like now you have to like work in rotation around the multiple enemies. And if it was something where it was like a wave based thing and you're like you're actually going out of your way to develop like an entire like play style around it, I think it would be cool. But actually what most of the time it is that instead it's just 8 mobs that fly away from you and you need to take Nicole so that she can gather them, which is not very original and not very like well thought out. Yo, thank you CRE, I appreciate it. Hey there, just want to say thanks. I think you have one of the best, most detailed Zenless guides out there, dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Barney. Honestly, okay, I'll keep it a buck with you. I don't think I always have like, you know, I don't very often put like, you know, the spreadsheets numbers and stuff in terms of like the raw numbers, like exactly how much damage like this W engine will do over the other, just because it feels like there's an infinite possibility of like scenarios where you could test characters. Side note, by the way, though it's like possible, like there isn't even like a great place to test the performance of agents, because like there is no like true neutral boss in the game. Would also love that, by the way, so you could actually see how like strong characters are relative to each other in game. That aside, that's like more like a creator thing. Like I hope
Forumaru is now following.
Firumaru, hope I'm saying your name right. I hope, and like the goal with my guides is always to give you guys an understanding of like, regardless if you're a beginner or you're a middle or you're like an endgame player, I hope you gain something from the guide. I know sometimes catering to both is difficult, but like even if it's just like learning what sets are good, learning what W engines are good, like reading or understanding what the kits do sometimes, I hope I make it a bit easier for you guys. Again, I'll be the first to say it, sometimes I have mistakes, sometimes like my shit gets fucked up. It is a little bit difficult to honestly process and like digest and like you know, kind of treadmill through all the information, because like, I mean, fucking look at some of these descriptions, like what the fuck are we talking about, man? Like some of these descriptions are like are fucking too long, and I hope that you guys gain something from it. I hope you guys learn something from it, or you get some value from it when I process it or when I try to digest it and summarize and spit it out at you guys. But it's like, why? This isn't even like the worst character for it too. I think like Vivian's got it too. Man, what the 4 basic attacks in her kit? Like, what the fuck is all this? They need to make it easier to get resources. for what it's worth, I do think that could be the case, but I actually think that resource grinding in any game is kind of ass. What's up, Biako? I actually kind of want to stick my neck out for Zenless. Though I think like Star Rail and other games have been doing it at the same time. I think Zenless is still the only game, if I'm not mistaken, that lets you endlessly farm the weekly material, even like even off week. Which like you can like assess for yourself how valuable that is, but like one of the most annoying things that I've ever experienced is like I'm playing even Wuwa or like, you know, even like Honkai Star Rail or any game. I'm like, oh my god, Siakona is coming out, holy shit. Well, if I didn't know exactly what Siakona needed exactly 12 weeks ago, I won't be able to max out her abilities. What the fuck? like why am I gated by that? It's like so fucking cringe, bro. I played Pokemon Go and my brother collects Pokemon cards, but I don't, Biako. Material grind is fine. It's the gear that kills my fun in the game. I think Wuwa, oh my god, man. Oh my god, Wuwa's okay. I do think Wuwa got a little bit better with that material thing that they added, and I hope that Zenless adds it in 2.0. Oh my god, but like holy shit, Wuthering Waves echo farming is like the most, oh my god, I want to lose my fucking mind system in the entire world. For what it's worth, I actually don't think Zenless is that bad though. Zenless already has like the choose your main stat shit in the game, and I think, okay, for what it's worth, though I don't think it's a perfect science, like I think of course you do gain value from stats in this game, I do think that for the most part, if you just 60 or if you just 15 your disc and you have the correct main stats, you should be able to clear most content in Zenless. Nineveh over and over for nothing gets lame because they don't even make the rewards banner set. I mean, didn't they technically did though, didn't they? I thought that they added like for the weekly. This got reset, didn't it? This got buffed, didn't it? Didn't it used to be like 80 or something? And we started getting these like yeah, we started getting these coupons. Some dude in a flea market was selling 3 binders of Pokemon cards. I got all 3 binders for $12. Holy shit, dude. Bro, that's crazy, Biako. Hey man, great find. That's void. Oh no, but I mean like didn't they like they not reset it, but I mean like they extended it, right? Am I misunderstanding? In Zenless, you could choose which set to craft and upgrade values are fixed and not random. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. Like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. If you enjoy this whole, like, I don't know what main stat I'm rolling, and I also don't know what set I'm gonna get, and I also don't know which substat it's gonna go into, and I don't know how many substats on the same echo are gonna exist or like are gonna be on the same echo. I don't know like how much of each subset I'm gonna get when I upgrade. Disgusting, man. Disgusting, man. Like I'm a fucking like, you know, I play Epic 7 in games like that, so like my brain, I get it, like I'm a filthy fucking, you know, like 24 26 speed kind of chaser guy, I get it, but like viewing it from like another person, like, you know, viewing it from like the casuals POV, that is the most disgusting system I like think I've ever seen. It's just too disturbing. It is just too disturbing. I got Clayta finally cleared Shiu with S, and you 6-star deadly guide video helped a lot. Hey, I'm glad, man. I got lighter after advice the other day. Probably gonna end up costing money when 2.0 lands to get GUN, but meh, worth it for Ellen and Evelyn. Yeah, honestly Honestly, hey man, if it makes you happy, Saul, I don't think anyone would blame you, honestly, for getting lighter. I think lighter is a little bit crazy. And I don't think that's like, I don't think that's gaslighting. I don't think that's like glazing. I think lighter is one of the goats for a reason. That collapse effect stun duration increase is just, it's too unique of a mechanic. If we all end up, you know, eating our, like, you know, eating shit because like they end up releasing another character that has collapse effect, I'm sorry, I can't see into the future. But like, you know, the same way that people would advise you to pull for someone like Astra or Miyabi because they're strong, like that's how good someone like lighter is. I don't have the W engine, but assume Steam Oven will do. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, actually, no, not Steam Oven. You should use Precious Fossilized Core. I like being able to curate a build, so reducing stat RNG is nice. Yeah, and like again, I get it. Like, you know, some oh my god, this is super random. This is not okay. This is like exclusively for whales. If you're not like a whale, like you can like turn your brain off for a second. And like I seriously don't understand the downside to this. It must be like a law in like some other country or something. It has to be. But the one thing that I've never understood about like Hoyoverse titles and like gacha games in general, so like, okay, you know, a lot of people like to call like gacha games in the market right now like very predatory, right? But a title like Epic 7 has been called like one of the most free-to-play friendly as of forever. And while I understand that, something that's always like kind of bothered me is that Epic 7 allows you to endlessly refresh like forever. Like if you just have enough money, you can just keep going and there's no end to it. Why does no Hoyo title even let you do that when there's like, at least from my understanding, no objective downside in a single player quote unquote PvE game to allowing you to do so? Is it like they want to like dummy check like the players? Like they don't want you to like accidentally spend like your life away, which by the way they're probably gonna do anyways, because you know they'll just pull. So you come back every day to play. Yeah, but you have dailies though, you know what I mean? That's like, I thought the value of dailies is that you get like free currency to come back, because otherwise, I mean, like, you know, like what's stopping you from like the current system right now from just spending like as much money as you want? China laws? But like, isn't Epic 7 has a server in China, and I'm pretty sure they're still allowed to endlessly farm. Rich people don't lose interest too fast. Maybe, but like whales always have free to play, like you know, if whales keep playing, or sorry, if free to plays keep joining, whales will have like an endless supply of people to flex on. Not a gacha game, but Warframe is the most free-to-play friendly game I've ever seen. Remove the cosmetic loot box mechanic because they notice one player spending a massive amount of dosh on it. That is pretty free-to-play friendly, and they do have their own player-run economy, which I think is really cool. Admittedly, though, Warframe kind of lost me when I started going into like to the open world and like, I don't know, fighting like you know, kaiju level threat and like the whole like you're actually a kid inside. I don't know, that kind of wasn't for me, to be honest. I'm sure it was like, you know, I'm sure it was like there's some value to it. It just kind of lost me. Epic 7's main thing is the gear farming, so of course they want you to do it endlessly, but like character building in theory is like one of the main values from Zenless, as they like constantly optimize and like teach you how to do it. I just like, there's literally no like, okay, outside of it being like a law, which again, I don't understand why Epic 7 in China is not restricted then, but like outside of that, like, is there literally any downside from letting the whales whale? Like, this is like, I also admit I'm like a very this is like a very selfish thing to say, but I'm also just like, when I played Genshin for the first time, I just come from, you know, from other titles where you can endlessly farm, and like, you know, not that it's like a good thing to do, but like, why would you not just let me waste my bank account on farming? Like, doesn't that just make the company more money? I just don't understand that. It confuses me so much. Oh, they figured they have like psychology for this. It's like Marvel Rivals. They figured out if you lose too much in a row, you leave. But it's like optional. Like, it's not like I'm saying like, oh guys, like you have to do Lost Ark dailies in order to play. It's just like, for the specific subset, that's a crazy line. I understand, like, don't get me wrong, I get it. That's like super fucking stupid. But if you're just like brain rotted, like, it's like at casinos, you know what I mean? Like, casinos will like let you spend as much as you want so long as you're losing, right? Like, I'm just surprised that like for quote unquote predatory gacha companies, they wouldn't let you do that. Like, am I crazy? Am I misunderstanding something? Some people have money to throw away. That's what I'm saying. And like, I don't know, sometimes, you know, like if you make money and you want to spend it on a gacha game and you have the means to, then like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, why not spend like, I don't know, $100 fucking on like refreshing? Maybe they have some sort of hidden data on how many people actually refresh to the max. Yeah, and again, look, I'm not saying this is, look, like, I don't think this would affect like free to plays, but like this would, in theory, the whales would just spend more, which is like, I don't know, that's kind of what I thought would be like an incentive for them to do it, but they just don't really understand that. Probably against the rules of the FTC, but Epic's like, see, like, if this was standardized across the board, I understand, but like, how would, I think like someone said Epic 7, Blue Archive, and another game all allow you to max refresh. And if I'm not mistaken, Blue Archive, Epic 7, and like the other game that I'm talking about all have a server in China. And like, to be clear as well, I don't even think this would be like an insignificant amount. Like, I think most of Epic 7 like thrives whenever they like add like the fucking bullshit like equipment packs and they let you like endlessly refresh for like wyverns and stuff, or like wyvern hunt. So I can't even imagine how much money they would make if they like let you endlessly refresh in Genshin or like Star Rail. Wait, Blue Archive has this. Does that separate server not let you max refresh? Like, again, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I want to preface again. I'm not suggesting anyone do this. I'm not by any means. I just like, I'm trying to understand the inconsistency. More like the energy packs. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a little confused, I guess. By the way, I am super curious. Did you guys see, oh my God, man. If you guys saw, Yoji did like, he uploaded this clear of him doing Ellen Lycon Sokaku. By the way, I just didn't know this. I don't know if this is like privy, like if you guys are familiar with this information or not. Like, Ellen Lycon Sokaku for like, you know, most of the bosses is literally her BIS team. And I'm not saying like BIS as in like, oh, one of her BIS. Like, if you just play this perfectly, which again is asking a lot, but if you play this perfectly, it outperforms like Vivian Astra, like Yanagi Astra. Like, if in the good year of 2025, you told me that there was a team that beat an Astra team and the character to beat the Astra was fucking slow Kaku, I feel like I'd fucking lose my mind a little bit. What's up, Sharfade? It is Rikar. For what it's worth, so slow Kaku does also have a lot of value in her kit. Like if you technically go blow for blow, I was comparing it. Let me see. I think I linked it. Where's my, sorry, hold on, I'm trying to look at my DMs real quick. The entire buff list or the buff comparison is I think so Kaku gets like 1000 attack. I think her M4 gives 10% ice res shred. I think you also gain 20% ice damage versus Astra's 1200 attack, 31 crit damage, and 24% damage multi, not including W engine. So like all this to say, basically, it's not that you like technically like don't get anything, but like I think it is incredibly telling that like a 1.0 sorry, not a 1.0, but like a 1.0 support team can literally be the best team in the game. The Giga Chad Sokaku versus the Virgin Astra. Okay, that's not what I would call Astra necessarily. Which Bang Boo is universal? There is technically, I don't think there's a universal one. There's like ones that are pretty universal, like Snap works with, I think, Snap, I guess, is technically the most universal because his active skill increases the damage here. Just assuming you can take like the film or whatever. I like Night Boo though. I like Night Boo. I like Snap. I think Boo Resher is also fine. Honestly, the Bang Boo doesn't fucking matter though. I've seen someone legit dodging each spin of the Dead End Butcher with Sokaku like it was insane. You might have been watching the same video I was watching. Bang Boo doesn't matter most of the time. Yeah. I do think that like if you're doing like Battle Tower, you can sometimes gain value from like Avocado Boo healing you a little bit, but isn't Lighter just better than Lycone? No. That's just not, it's not true actually.
I shall follow your orders.
Lycone, what, hold on. Pretty sure for this team, yeah, you don't activate Lighter with Miyabi. So like the 75% like ice damage that you would otherwise get, or like the like, you know, that specific mechanic, which is like 95% of why you would use Lighter, is literally not activated. Now, again, to be clear, the reason why I'm bringing this team up is because like it pairs with Miyabi, and obviously though like Ellen, like I don't know, like Evelyn plus Lighter might be strong, or like Ellen plus like Lighter might be strong. It doesn't matter because Miyabi is just the best character in the game. It's just not, it's not a competition. It's not a discussion. There's no object, there's no subjectivity. Miyabi is the best character in the game. The other thing is his name Lycon? Is his name Lycon? I thought it was Lycon. Doesn't he? Wait, hold on.
I shall follow your orders.
Ready for combat.
I'm at your disposal.
Standing by.
I shall follow your.
Does he say his name? I swear his name is Lycon. Is Lycon? Am I crazy? Can Jufufu solo me? Dude, I love Jay Stern. I love Jay Stern, man. That guy's my goat. Oh, Oh, the other thing, this is like something that I just got. Lycon. Okay, I mean, Lycon. Okay, I'll call him Lycon. His name is Vaughn. You're right. Actually, his name is Hugo's husband. Actually. Dude, man, the amount of Seigex that these characters have, oh my god. Nabi by herself is pretty mid because she can't build stacks well. She needs teammates in Disorder at M0. I mean, she can build her stacks if you just use EX special. Why did I quit E7? I didn't quit E7. Okay, not that I mind it. Like, I don't stream the game, so I don't blame you guys for thinking that I quit. If I can just show you for a moment, I'm like top 100. I'm like top 130 right now in E7. Like I've been like posting like 6 or like 8 E7 videos on my alt channel, like a month. I just don't do it on my main channel. I just don't stream it on my main channel. Lycon. They're just friends? There's no way you start hallucinating about your friend. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. It's okay, Squishy. I mean, listen, I don't take like any one person's like what any one person says really as like offense, and I apologize if I came off like a bit aggressive, but like it does like as a concept kind of bother me that I post as much as I do on the More Kana channel, and I do show up on people's streams and people clown me in those streams as much as I get clowned, and people still think that I quit the game. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't understand it. Will I ever play ZenlessZoneZero again? You're right. Renak is very funny. I do think it is depressing that the game has all but come down to who has Boss and who has Renak and then who has Litica. And that's just the team, like 10, like all over. Like if you play in like Emperor Plus, like everyone pre-bans Harsetti and Zio, or like one side pre-bans Harsetti Zio, the other side bans like Renak or Litica, or Renak and Litica, or Renak and Arunka, or Arunka and Litica. Like there's no creativity. Not that it's ever really changed, but it is literally the same 5 units in every single game. Dude, you know what's funny, Mars? Hold on. Let me see. I'm not gonna dox myself, but like I have like a very incriminating image. One sec. It's funny that you brought this up. Let me open this. I think this is like the funniest image ever. Look at this image. Does anyone want to take a guess what this is? Does anyone want to take a guess of what this is? Am I blind and pull for Yishuan? Yeah. Does anyone want to take a guess what this is? No, it's not trying to spell something. This is my stream activity. And if you look in the past 4 months. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh, it's too fucked up. Yo, good night, Rascal. Lycon gets actively possessive over Hugo. Yeah, so like what's wrong? You know what I mean? What's wrong with calling it how it is? Wait, hold on. I'm actually kind of curious. Wait, hold on. I was watching Yoji's video. Let me see. Does Yoji use? Is he 6-slot anomaly proficient or? Oh, he's attack. Okay, hold on. Let me back out of this. Most consistent streamer. I used to stream quite often. I used to really not try to go like too many days off without streaming, but then like I started covering Zenless more. It's just like impossible. It really does feel like damn right, like outright impossible sometimes to like not like miss a day. Like I don't know how else to put it. I'm trying, boys. I swear.
This is the path I follow.
Am I making an account review? Oh shit. Okay, all right. My bad. Okay, you're right. Okay, let's do account reviews real quick. All right, Forgotten Owl, are you here? I apologize. Forgotten Owl? Ding dong, Forgotten Owl. Dude, listen. I was gonna stream yesterday, but then I stayed up all night, and then like, cause I was working on my Lycon video, and then I was working on, oh, and then I had to get suited, or I had to get fitted for a suit, cause my one of my like childhood best friends is getting married. Are account reviews a channel point reward or a dono thing? Honestly, I should make them like a sub benefit. I recently started working with someone who's like helped me out, like someone that was like an assistant basically. He's been helping me out because I'm like, one of the things that I struggle with as a person, I'm like very disorganized, or I'm like very bad with timing things as a streamer, because like 99% of the time I feel like I'm thinking about Zenless and I want to make like the content like super digestible, and I don't want to make it like super complicated, and I'm like fact checking my information, but then like I have to also exist like a human, but then I also don't want to like forget about you guys like as stream, and I do try to at least stream one time a month, I promise, but like deadlines come up, and like, you know, I have to post on the side channel, and like I'm like losing my mind a little bit. Anyways, main reason I bring this up is because like I was thinking about like revamping the channel a little bit to have like more like sub goals, more sub incentives. Like, you know, I want you guys to gain something from like continuously subscribing, or for like you guys, like you YouTube frogs, like channel badges and stuff. You know, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe I am capping. Thank you for your Piper and Vivian, guys. Finally got my first star in Deadly Assault Against a Robot. Hey, congrats, man. I appreciate it. Like a members line? I should, dude, that is exactly what I want to do. Fuck. I do want to have like a member stream. It would be nice to do member streams, wouldn't it? Genuine question, is Hugo better than Miyabi? No way. Not even close. Okay, I will tell you this. I will give you this information. Unless if they specifically add a buff into the game that says like increased stun damage. Okay, even if they have this, like Miyabi would just be paired with stunners. But unless if they have something specifically that says like totalized damage increases by 600%, like Miyabi will just clear. And even if that clears, I feel like some people will still not understand how Hugo works, not activate totalize, and then Miyabi will still be better. How about Hugo versus Ellen? I'm pretty sure Hugo is better than Ellen. What's the optimal crit rate on Miyabi? The optimal crit rate on Miyabi is whatever the optimizer tells you. To be clear, outside of overcapping, like obviously you don't want to overcap for like, or you want to account for crit rate from characters like Ben or Nicole or from some other source, but ultimately, so long as you don't overcap, you can get as close to 100% as you want without overcapping 100%. What about Yushman? I don't know anything about Yushman yet. I do want to see M2 Hugo. Okay, M2 Hugo does seem... M2 Hugo might beat M0 Miyabi. There's not a world in my head where like 2 totalizes does not end up beating like Miyabi at M0. Dude, thanks, Saul. Take it easy, man. I mean, Mr. Universe, I mean, if you become a member, you know, I mean, I do typically look at like the subs and stuff. I mean, I know it's like a little biased, a little unfair, but I mean, that's c'est la vie, right? But does M2 Hugo beat M2 Miyabi? No way. No, it's not close. Like, I pretty sure I was talking to Pridewin about it. I'm pretty sure they did the calcs for the character for those exact calcs that you're talking about. Huh. Maybe it is comparable. Pridewin says that M2 Hugo is 4.6. And Miyabi is 4.3. Could be. Could be. Dude, M6 Hugo, by the way, just does not even seem human, by the way. If you guys know what M6 Hugo does, that I don't even fucking know how the fuck M6 Hugo works. Chat, what website is this? This is the Enka network. Okay. All right. Here's what we'll do. If you guys are a sub or a member, if you're a sub or a member, YouTube frogs, you don't have to swap over. Twitch frogs, you guys can stay where you are. If you guys are like a tier 3 sub or like I don't know, I'll probably have to add something like another tier or something for you, like for you YouTube frogs, and I'll give you guys like, I don't know, like maybe an earlier, like I don't know. I need to like think up like channel incentives. Honestly, if you guys want to help me brainstorm, maybe I'll make a channel in Discord. You guys could help me out with that. But I want to give you I want to give back to you guys. Like I want to like do something or incentivize or like, you know, obviously reward you guys for being loyal to the channel. In any case, point is, like, if you guys are a sub right now, or if you're like a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, like obviously if you're tier 3, like we can just fucking get this right now. Like we do your account review or whatever you want. If you're a channel member on YouTube, I'll also get through and I'll see it obviously. And we could do the account reviews. What you're seeing right now is the Enka network. The Enka network lets me take a look at anyone's UID. I can take a look at like my own, for instance. Is this mine? Like, so for instance, like I have my own, like with Miyabi, I'm taking a look at it. I'm like, what, 38 subs. You can see like my stat line. You can see like the values and stuff. Whatever you guys want to do, that's fine. Otherwise, what we'll do in terms of otherwise what we'll do in terms of the Anchor network and stuff, you guys can just drop your UID when I say, okay guys, who's next? When I say that specific line, like, okay guys, who's next? You can just drop your UID and we'll get into it. I think Forgotten Owl PP poofed. So we can just start from scratch. It doesn't matter what server you're on. You can just drop your ID. So, okay, who's next? It's like I was fondling your balls, guys. Wait, is there a what's it called? A leaderboard? Wait, what do you mean? Do I still? Yeah, I do. I do, Preston. Wait, how do you know what place they are?
Is your name Kana?
Oh,
Kana call you
Medio
mine?
Brendo, thank you for the
Medio
sub.
Brando just subscribed.
Thank you. Wait, hold on. Before I get into it, how do you find out what rank you are? Am I missing something, Barney? Okay, well. All right, fuck it. Okay. All right, Brando, let's start with you, buddy. All right, what am I taking a look at? Oh, also, when you guys include your when you guys include your UID, if you don't mind, let me know what I'm looking for, or like what you're asking for, or like what you're interested in. Is this the review? How can I join? If you like, I'll have like a little line, or have like a little queue. If you're a sub, a channel member, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, or you're a channel member, I'll put you in the line and I'll get to it. Additionally, if I don't get to you on stream, you can always DM me and I'll give you advice. You can ask me questions, I'll answer for your characters. I guess one of the benefits to like being a sub or being like a channel member, being loyal to the channel. However, what do you want to take a look at? Whatever you feel like, I feel like Evelyn or Miyabi are my better units, but I take input on Vivian Trigger since they're never built. Okay, so I'll just go through the DPS then. If, by the way, you guys, for whatever reason, like you, oh, Riv!
Resubscribed for 2 months. Take my free money.
Thank you for the Prime, gamer. Appreciate it. How you been doing? Dude, Riv, I haven't talked to you in a minute, man. Hope you've been enjoying the games and shit. Hope you've been doing well. Okay, just by default, by the way, I'll just normally take a look at the DPS. If you want, I can take a look at the other supports and stuff too, but usually supports are just like slap the recommended sets. If you want, in most cases, most supports can use like, instead of well, I guess it depends. We'll get to that though. All right. Let's take a look at Miyabi first. So Miyabi she's got 6, 22, 31 rolls. Okay. 31 rolls is fine. Again, I'm sure you're not struggling with Miyabi. Miyabi in most cases is fine. Like even if you're like 24 rolls, that's just what I've noticed. She is more of like if you get the character, she does a lot of damage, and otherwise she still does a lot of damage, so it doesn't quite matter. If you're looking for upgrades though, of course, like you would want more crit rate, crit damage, attack percent rolls, though I know just telling someone to get better rolls is kind of a that's kind of a dickhead thing to do. But in terms of this, I think like your 6-piece looks cool. Your 4-piece or your 5th piece looks pretty nasty too. That's a 4 roll, 6 roll. Your 4th slot is a crit damage main. I do want to say that for Miyabi, if you can afford to go like attack percent, since normally you end up pairing characters like Miyabi with, I don't know, like Trigger or Astra, or with damage percent in general, if you can go attack percent, that would be great. If you want to really stir the pot and you want to get something like crit rate for your 4th slot too, also works out well. But in terms of the roll quality of your 4th slot, this is only roughly 3 rolls, which doesn't look too great, too amazing. Okay, in terms of your 3rd slot, 4, 6, that's fine. Of course, you'd love to have attack percent here. Same with your 5th slot, by the way. I noticed you don't have attack on your 5th slot either. Your second W engine, or sorry, W engine. Your second disk drive can definitely also be upgraded as well. It's only like 4 rolls. And you got 6 rolls, or technically 6.5 or 6, I don't know, 7 if you want to consider rolls on your first disk drive, which is also cool. But overall, this is a pretty average, or a just below average Miyabi overall. I think she's fine. You've got all of these, or got all of her core passive or core skill leveled. You've got most of her skills in general leveled as well. I do find myself dodge countering quite a bit on Miyabi, just as a bit of a heads up. So I don't think it's necessarily something where I'd choose not to level up Miyabi as well, or not level that up for Miyabi as well. If we move beyond that, though, we probably can take a look at Vivian. Okay, actually, before I move on to Vivian, just as like a bit of a side note, not that I think you always have to stick so hard to this or so firm to this, but if you want like a general guideline, if you take a look at here, the roles here indicate, or the numbers down here at the bottom indicate how many of each role you have. So like in this case, you see the attack percent here. This one is the crit rate rolls that you have, and this is the crit damage. If you just want like a generally usable guideline, or something that you want to consider. Also, Potato, thank you for joining the channel. Appreciate it. Thank you for the channel membership. You can on average look for something like anywhere between 32 to like 36. 36 is about like the top end average of rolls for crit and attack based characters, and I like that quite a lot. In terms of performance, when it comes to having those stats, like at the 36 roll mark, you really do start to hit like premium stat lines. Not that I think like a 36 stat line or a 36 roll character is so much better than a 30 or a 32 roll, but it is something to look out for. And if you do have that amount, or if you do meet all the stat requirements and you have 36 rolls, that starts to hit the point where like you should be able to clear all content in the game. Now, the reason why I bring up the stat rolls is because as we move to the Anomaly characters, that is not the same. If you get 36 rolls of fucking Anomaly, that is like probably top 2 or like top 1% of Anomaly characters, just because that's so fucking hard to do. But let's take a look at Vivian. So Vivian has the correct set. She's got a decent amount of her, her skills leveled, her core passives leveled. She has her signature. That's fine. I do also like Faithin's Melody and Freedom Blues. Side note, an interesting note about Vivian is that she does scale better with Anomaly proficiency, if I'm not mistaken, better than attack. So if possible, it is better to, rather than use something like Hormone Punk, or if you want to use like Astro Voice as like a 2-piece just for attack percent, it is nicer just to have Anomaly proficiency here, and you have Freedom Blues, so it is what it is. Now, in terms of the actual rolls that you have 23 combined rolls between Anomaly proficiency and attack, and you're just shy of 500 AP or Anomaly proficiency, which I'm sure this character is also not struggling for you. If you do feel like you're struggling, it might be a team composition, or it might be a fight sort of thing. Again, I don't know for sure if this is like a character that you feel like you struggle with. Truth be told, I feel like most of the limited characters just... Wait, he does have Anomaly proficiency? Wait, sorry, what did I say? But okay, in any case, I don't think most people struggle with characters like Vivian and Miyabi, just because they're like, one is fucking Miyabi, and the other is Vivian, who's like, relevant to the like current Shiyu and the Deadly Assault buffs. So as a result, or because of that, I think what you have right now is fine. If you want more rolls, maybe you could try and get even more Anomaly proficiency rolls. But even if you just think about it calculation wise, if you have the base roll for Anomaly proficiency and you have 2 rolls go into Anomaly proficiency per roll, that means you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's like 15 rolls of Anomaly proficiency, which is already kind of difficult to do. Oh no, sorry. No, I don't mean that. I mean, Anomaly Mastery is fine for your 6th slot. In fact, I think it's actually like pretty good for Vivian. Vivian obviously like wants to apply her disorders and apply like her anomaly as soon as possible, so you can get into like the groove of bloom and such, and constantly apply disorders in general, as that is pretty much the goal of any Vivian team. But I don't think this Vivian is struggling. I think you literally have more anomaly proficiency than even I have. Let me take a moment actually to look at how much mine has.
I would never turn down Lord Phaethon.
My Vivian has 393 anomaly proficiency. You are great. I've got 90 less anomaly proficiency than you do, and I think my Vivian is doing fine. Okay. Next, we can talk about... Oh, I just realized you said newer builds, not never builds. Yeah, I really want to pull Yanagi on her rerun to pair with Vivian. She's a little weird to play with Bernice. Yeah, so that's the one thing I'll say about double anomalies. If one of your anomaly characters is not a main field focused anomaly character, and you aren't using like a character or a third character who appreciates being on field, like just straight up, it just does not feel good sometimes playing characters unless if they're obviously designed to be main fielders. Like I noticed that a lot actually when I was playing, like, you know, not as an anomaly team, but like Hugo, what was it? Hugo, Lighter, and Astra. Though, like, obviously you can main field Hugo. Like the idea behind Hugo is that you want to wait until the enemy is stunned or the boss is stunned so that you can totalize. But like similar to what's going on with this, sometimes you just want all the characters to be off field, which is okay. But in this case, right, if you have like Bernice and like Vivian together, it's like a hot potato of who, like, you know, or it's really like a whose field is it anyway type of situation. You're having E7 burnout. Everyone's playing Arunga FCC Ilanov. Yep. It's okay. Just take a break, man. It's fine.
Anna's pretty cool. You should check her out.
T-Lake is now
Sarah, thank you for the follow. What's up? How you doing? Dude, Sarah, I need Etheria to come out. I can't have like this, like looming, I think it's gonna like reset. I just need it to come out. Sorry, you playing Impact Lucy with Bernice and Vivian and it gets the job done. 20k DA, but it feels like carpal tunnel swap team. Yeah, and again, like, you know, though there's surely an optimized team, I think that, and they've admitted this too, actually, in the dev note, they acknowledge the fact that the game has essentially leaned in such a way that most people just don't want like on-fielders. Like people just don't like quick swapping like that. And now, to be clear, I hope that they don't take away quick swapping. But and as you guys I'm sure have seen, they've also spent like an easy amount of time, or they've spent like a decent amount of time at this point making characters that like do moves off field. Vivian, for instance, just like automatically does like her basic combo, or like does her like transition. She like converts her feathers completely off field, or like even while she's completely off field. Early days of Zenless gave you carpal tunnel repetitive stress injury for months because of how long the HP sponge enemies took pre-Miyabi. Yeah, I was not like, I think I cleared a lot of Shiyu, but then like the second that Jane came out, I was like, Zen, I'm at peace. All I gotta do is just take like Seth, Lucy, Jane, and everything dies in 0.2 seconds. Kana, I got stupid lucky, got Vivian in her weapon at 15 pulls, and I also got Lighter at 7 pity. Don't have other S ranks. except for Arena. Is pulling Hugo worth it, or I love Hugo. I think Hugo is fantastic. Like, he does obviously deal decent amounts of damage. I think you would be lying if you say that his damage is subpar. However, I'm more than willing to admit that Hugo is the sort of character that, because he's like a male character, and like, unless if you really like him for his design, and also because he's like the character that's released right before 2.0 and you're like trying to save up resources, there's just so much that indicates or points towards you not wanting to pull for Hugo. Like, it's just kind of inarguable. Like, unless if they literally reran Miyabi before 2.0, and even with that, and even with even lighter being reran, there are still doubters, and there's still doubt in people's minds for whether or not you should pull for a character like that. And I don't blame them. It like kind of makes sense. The character is powerful, the characters are strong, but who the fuck cares when we don't know how the game is going to look with 2.0? And I think that's a very valid criticism. I'm guessing the issue is they should nerf quick assist, but they don't want to piss off players. Quick assist. I mean, isn't it just that like people are lazy? I don't know if that's like, I think people just don't want to swap. I think they did a really good job of making Hugo a desirable character for non-gameplay reasons. Yeah, he's got like a really good story. Like, his design looks like really cool. Like, his build-up and his like narrative and like the atmosphere behind him and his backstory is really, really high quality, actually. Not swapping and turning off your brain is the move. Yeah, and I think like a lot of people play like that, which is why, like, you know, people obviously see like the performance of like characters, and like they'll be like, oh my god, like Sokaku fucking sucks dick and balls or something, and it's probably because they're doing their chain attack with Sokaku. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Yo, need some help. Started Zenless over a month ago and I wanted to pull from Miyabi. Is she still worth it? Absolutely. If Miyabi comes out, it would be a crime if after releasing Yixuan so recently, and also Miyabi, like in this hypothetical that you're talking about, if they released Yixuan and Miyabi, they released two other characters or like three other characters that completely pushed Miyabi out of like the viable pool of characters, that would be criminal. Like, actually get your pick of fences. What site is this? This is the Enka network. Okay, Brando, sorry. I found the Astra Evelyn trigger team to be really satisfying in terms of how much swapping and how skillful it is to play. You know, there's actually something I want to say about about this. And honestly, if I do like just a quick breeze over, I think your characters look fine. I guess Hormone Punk is fine, actually. Yeah, Evelyn doesn't have too much to her. 24 rolls is a bit low, I just realized. If you can, I know you're like min-maxing and optimizing a little bit. If you can, 24 feels a little bit bad. Let me diagnose real quick. You definitely want to replace your third slot, your fourth slot, your fifth slot, and your sixth slot. Yeah, your 3, 4, 5, 6 could all use a little bit of love. That said, oh, Ephrath, thank you for the 27 months.
Resubscribed for 27 months.
Thank you for the 27 months. Okay. I want to talk about Evelyn for a moment because I think it's important. Something that I think goes criminally understated about Evelyn is actually in regards to where Evelyn is strong. If I'm not mistaken, Guys, what are the Fire Week bosses? It's Pompey. Is it Pompey? And what is it? There's another one. Damn, I can't remember what it is. Is it just Pompey? I swear at some point people were taking Evelyn into Typhon Destroyer. I think for like one rotation they like, oh yeah, because of this, I think like because of the days and the chain attack from this, like I'm pretty sure Evelyn does really well in this Typhon Destroyer, like really, really well, despite her being like enemy resistant or like fire resistant. And the thing that I really don't like about Evelyn specifically for this is that because Evelyn stays on field to do like one of her, I think it's like her B5 or something after you swap with the character, I think it is really annoying that you can't do Typhon Destroyer's like gimmick to stun him easily with Evelyn for that exact reason. I really don't like that. Sorry, just wanted to just random aside. Because we were talking about Evelyn. Overall though, Brando, honestly, I just wanted to say, I think your account looks pretty good. I don't know if you have any specific questions. Again, I could tell you to get better disk drives. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Like if someone asks you for financial advice, do you just tell them get richer? You know what I mean? Kind of a ridiculous thing to say. But like, you know, it is what it is. I think your account looks fine. I didn't notice anything off in terms of main stats. I don't know if you just follow my guides or if you follow something in general, but it looks all okay. Astra, if you want, like maybe you can run energy regen or something. Bashful Demon, you are going to miss out on an attack a little bit, but it's okay. It's not that big a deal. Calm Chess. Hey, Con, I got stupid lucky and got Vivian in her weapon in 15 pulls and got lighter. Oh, shit. Sorry. I already read this. Oh, my bad. I never rolled a good ER 6-piece for Asha, so it's rough. That's okay. Honestly, I don't even be rolling like good shit ever. So like you're already winning out. Sorry, let me just put this over here. Okay. As long as you have better stats than me, yeah. When I read your message, sorry, I thought I was talking about like Hugo, or I thought it was when I was talking about Hugo, but I mean Hugo just in general I feel like is a character that kind of struggles, not in terms of like struggles for damage, but like he's like I think one of the most overlooked and passed over characters just because no one gives a fuck about him right now. And I don't blame him. I don't blame you. Like I think it's like mostly because people just see like 2.0 on the horizon and they're like, who the fuck are you talking about? Sorry, I don't want to pop. I'm just popping out my chat for this. What are my thoughts on Lighter? I think Lighter is one of the best characters in the game. If you think that Lighter isn't unique enough and isn't like one of the like most ridiculous characters that they've released in terms of value, agree to disagree. There is currently no character in the game that does anything similar to Collapse Effect. The technically covering for both ice and fire versatility makes him even better. I also think that in terms of the current roster, I think that he does synergize very well with a lot of the attack agents that currently exist. And in a lot of cases, you do want like an extended attack window to land all of your abilities, which I think adds like even further reason or adds even further value to playing Lighter specifically. Are your guides only on YouTube? I like your content, but for reference, I want something text or data based. Unfortunately, It's all on YouTube. I wish I got paid for a text guide, because then I definitely released my like Google Drive or something. But otherwise, all I normally get is just infographics, maybe. That's about it. I wish I had gotten lighter, but 50/50 decided to peg you. Can we all do a little salute and a 07 and 07 for our fallen brothers that decided to pull for a character before 2.0 and lost? So kind of just to summarize, Hugo isn't really game breaking, so it's better to just save unless you really like him. Yeah. I got Hugo, but I don't have lighter or Lycone, so he's low priority to build for the moment. Yeah, that's like another thing that's really, really like criminally understated. Like I've seen a few people like cite like how strong characters like or cite how strong a character is sometimes, but then they don't talk about the how free to play or how like good the character is. Actually, I apologize for those of you or for anyone that's subbed and wants an account review. I'm actually only going to be streaming for about 10 more minutes. But if you are someone that wants an account review and I missed you, please feel free to DM me, ask me whatever questions you want. But there is one final thing that I want to talk about that I think may end up taking like the full 10 minutes. Or like, you know, I'm only going to be here for like, yeah, not like about like another 7 or 8 minutes. It's something I actually want to talk about. It's about teams, because I don't think this gets talked about enough in the community. It's actually something that I heard from Yoji. I know I keep bringing him up. He's like another fellow creator. Again, if you guys haven't checked out Yoji's content, dude's a fucking beast. But it's actually in terms of like evaluating team strength. Now, specifically what I mean by that is if you take a look or if you try to assess how strong a team is, right? There are certain characters that are like very obviously very strong. And now the thing is that if you take a look at like this team, for instance, or if you take a look at, or well, let me do it actually from a different menu. If you guys, if I ask you guys like what the strongest teams in the game are, you guys might like initially come to me and like you might list off one of the teams here as like the strongest teams in the game. Like if I ask you like, who do you think is super, super OP? Like will give you a really good score. Like you might say Vivian, Miyabi, Astra, or you might honestly say some shit like, you know, like Evelyn plus Lighter plus like whoever, like Lucy or something, some combination like that. And while I agree that there are a lot of powerful teams like that, or even like Zhiyuan, Qingyi, and Nicole, or Zhiyuan, Qingyi, Astra, there was recently, or I don't know if it's recently, but there's apparently someone in China that assesses or rates the performance of characters based on how many limiteds you need in order for the team to be good. Now, of course, this is also dependent on how well the team like does score wise, as even though like you may end up using someone like Lycon Sokaku, if like Miyabi, Lycon, Sokaku only did like 10,000 damage and like Astra Vivian did 50, well then it doesn't matter if you just have like those two like bum ass free to play units. Like there's obviously a team that's doing like 50k more damage and like or 40k more damage, and the value there is invaluable. Like it is super good. However, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there comes a time where you can actually assess characters or assess teams based on how few or how many limited characters you don't have. And I think there's actually some value there, because to be more specific, like one of the reasons why like Lycone, Miyabi, and Sokaku is a super, super OP team is specifically because it's an efficient, low costing team. And what I mean by that is that, you know, when you take a look at Deadly Assault, technically speaking, if you think about it, Deadly Assault is not a, oh, Miyabi, Lycone, Astra, or like Miyabi, Lycone, Sokaku versus Deadly Assault sort of situation. It's your account having to cater and accommodate and fight against and build around like a set of 3 bosses, or technically 2, or technically 3, you know, and 2 stars, depending on how you see it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because efficiency and how good a team is does also play a factor in how good or how viable or how important or how good like a team is. And what I mean by that is that if you think about it, or if you consider it for a moment, technically speaking, in terms of how many characters it takes up, aside from the main DPS, who's Miyabi, Lycon and Sokaku are very often characters that can't be used with any other team except for Miyabi. So because you're using technically 0 limiteds and you're only using an S rank and an A rank, that like Miyabi, Lycon, Sokaku might be like just hands down one of the best teams in the game for that exact reason, because it's super efficient, you know? Now, like that said, that's not to say that like Vivian, Miyabi, and Astra is bad, but you will be able to get out more value from from Vivian and Astra on other teams. Now, the other teams that we're talking about can be teams like Jane plus Vivian, or it can be teams like, you know, Lighter plus Astra. And in those cases, just the fact that Miyabi was able to give away her other allies in this case for this does make it quite impactful and just outright good, I'd even say. Now, again, that isn't to say that like Evelyn, Lighter, and Astra is bad, but more pointing out the fact that like the low cost teams, when they're strong and when they're good, are game changing and they're worthwhile. Another instance of a team like this, by the way, is like when you use Juyuan and Nicole and Astra. When you have a team like that, that's another team that technically is able to use an A rank. And because you have an A rank team that is so powerful like that, or an A rank on a team that is so powerful with, again, only technically 2 limiteds in most cases, or at least 1 limited in most cases, that also makes it a very strong core, or a very strong team composition as a whole. Now, again, I haven't ever thought about it that way, but it does make sense. And I was trying to think of ways to explain how, like, you know, sometimes people will ask, oh, how come you don't use like, or, you know, I personally like using Vivian, Jane, and Bernice all together and I get a high score. Well, you're not wrong that you may necessarily get a high score using that. It is pretty telling of the fact that if you don't have that team lined up, or sorry, if you don't have access to a lot of limited characters, not having the flexibility to use like or move your S ranks to other teams does directly hinder your performance. Exactly, that's what you're saying. And like, it's expensive. Great wording. It's a very expensive team, which does matter if you're trying to clear a piece of content that does restrict you specifically by your number of characters. So with that, I do just want to say again that like, though there's a lot of glazing going around for Lycon, Sokaku, and Miyabi, it's not unjustified. There is actually pretty good reason for it. Hi, Sergio. In terms of the strongest A rank team, I think the strongest A rank team probably has like, it's probably Anton or Billy, I think. I don't know, maybe even Isokaku, but it's pretty dependent. That said, A ranks are not so significant or so insane that I think you could make it work like that every time. Lycon, sorry, Lycon, sorry, Lycon. Because you're able to give away the other characters, like, I don't know if there's like necessarily a super strong A rank team. I want to say like Billy, Ambi, Nicole is like one of the strongest. But Ambi doesn't really provide anything as a stunner. Hi, first time here. Welcome on in. Sorry. In any case, again, I just wanted to say that like expensive and cost wise, I think that is also something that you should consider. If you're able to get away with like a team like Piper, Bernice, Lucy, for instance, I think that's also another really powerful team depending on the lineup. Specifically because again, that team also is a a 0 cost or a technically 1 cost cheaper team in essence. But again, keep in mind that just because you're lacking limiteds doesn't mean that the team is OP. Your performance also has to back it up. I won't lie, Lycan and Sokaka feel really bad to play. I don't understand them. I can barely clear it with them and Miyabi. What fight are you using it on? Because I think part of the reason why they're strong is because people will take Lycan and Sokaku into a like a full Ice Week enemy, and that's where the value is. If you're trying to use yeah, fucking Mars. If you're able to use like Lycan and Sokaku and permanently freeze someone, I think there's incredible value there. I did want to test to see just how good Lycan and Miyabi were. That'll probably be like the next thumbnail that I come up with. Trying to think if there's any other team, but no, like really it is just that. And like again, like you're just looking for like inexpensive teams. You're looking for moments where like teams can shine. Like obviously Korn I think also shines against like Typhon because he's like so stun focused. Thanks for the tips about Miyabi, by the way. So basically wait for the new patch and see how it goes. Yeah, I mean honestly you should just be doing your dailies and I think that's fine. Zenless is going through content drought right now and it shows. Yeah, I mean, based on the 1.7 patch, I mean, when I looked at the events, like it did not look outstanding. And I'm assuming it's because 2.0 is going to like blow our minds. Now, again, that is like a bit presumptuous to assume, but they've shown really good results and shown really good patches otherwise. So I don't see a reason not to believe that. Any advice for fighting Typhon if all you have left to use on him are electric units? I think, are you doing his mechanic? Because I feel like Typhon is actually quite easy. Vivian, Piper, Lucy is legit a nice low budget team. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was very excited for this patch and later and Hugo are your favorites. Dude, it's like Christmas for you then, right? Yeah. I was trying to think if there's anything else I missed. No, I think I'm okay. Anyways, guys, as we wrap everything up, is there anything you guys are curious about?
You want to test my hammer?
Is there anything else that you guys want to see, talk about, etc.? Any stats or anything that you're curious about? If I was more loaded, I'd go for lighter and Hugo. Big number makes brain go burr. You never know, too. They could release another totalized specific support. I like to see kind of play the game more. You'll see me do it one day. Since the last character who hasn't rerun is coming up, do you think it's worth it to pull Caesar? Caesar trivializes a lot of content, but my one fear is that they do release like the Zhongli shield killer to Zenless. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment, Sonic. I appreciate it. You think missing Vivian hurts an account too much, or just wait for Yishwan? I think missing Vivian does hurt if you're trying to play anomalies, but I don't think it's like game over or anything. See you in 18 days? Okay, buddy. I already streamed twice in 1 week. That's like Christmas. All right, in any case, guys, that's going to be it for me today. If you'd like, you should check out the rest of my socials. You can check out my Discord for infographics. If you want more questions answered, we have a YouTube, or we have a Zenless chat that you guys can always ask questions to. There's a bunch of people there that play the game. That's going to be it for me, though. Thank you again. I love you all, Knisses, all my followers, all my supporters, my connoisseurs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bunsan, we can talk about it more in Discord. But yeah, thank you again for watching, everyone. I'll see you all next time. Again, if you want your account review and you're a sub or a channel member, feel free to DM me if you need it more pressingly. But otherwise, I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. Good night, good night, good night. Bye-bye. See ya.